most eagerly anticipated day on the snooker calendar, the final day of the World Final. The perfect start for the underdog. Kyren Wilson nods his head. The gap is back to 4 frames. Wilson still 7 away. This time Kyren Wilson concedes, and this World Final is getting more and more interesting. Oh, but that was a bit of a wild one. That half century, more than enough for Kyren Wilson, a nerve-settling frame for him. And Jack Jones has taken that reprieve with both hands to close once again to within 4 frames.
Wow, it's starting.
Jack Jones is made of granite. He really is. And this final is coming back to life. Kyren Wilson clears the table with 87. For Kyren Wilson, the dream is beginning to look like a reality. The Warrior is just 3 frames away from conquering the Crucible.
Good evening, hello, and welcome to the Crucible Theatre, where it is the biggest session of the biggest match of the biggest tournament in the snooker calendar. It will be a full house in the auditorium behind us here, and it is a full house in the studio. Absolute privilege to be joined by Jimmy White, Rhiannon Evans, and Alan McManus. And Al, I'll come straight to you first. This is huge, a potentially career-defining moment for Kyren Wilson.
Yes, it could be for Kyren Wilson, but at some stage tonight he's got to cross the Rubicon. It ain't done yet. He's 5 in front, needs 3 more. Can he do it? This is what we've been waiting for. The questions are all going to be answered in the next couple of hours. Let's get it on. I can't wait.
Let's get it on. Now, for Jack Jones, a mountain to climb, Rhiannon, has to get out the traps fast.
Yeah, that's one thing that he's not really done through this match, but he's showed great. His attributes have been fantastic, as you say, technique, bottle, and his mindset's been fantastic. It's just one thing he hasn't done. He's got really close to Kyren and put him under complete pressure. Let's hope he can do that now.
Absolutely right. And Jimmy, also great for the game. 2 players born in the 90s doing battle. It's never happened before.
Absolutely. You know, this is a changing of the guard. You know, these new players, Kyren Wilson, especially at Crucible, has always been consistent, played the best, you know, scored the best in this tournament so far. If he goes on to win it, he deserves it. Jack, I feel that he has been getting chances, but not really taking them. And, you know, he's come back at Kyren a couple of times with 2 frames, had chances to kick on. So this first couple of frames is huge.
The first couple of frames is huge. The entire tournament has been massive, and it's been the tournament that nobody predicted.
The stage is set for another 17-day snooker marathon. For snooker fans, there's nothing like it. Luca Brissell starting out as defending champion, but this is a tough draw. May well be upsets in the opening round. The Crucible curse has claimed another victim. The Belgian bullet has been shot down. Credit to Dave Gilbert. What a great comeback.
Janganda departs the Crucible, but Jack Jones has again negotiated the opening hurdle. Stephen Maguire marches into the last 16.
No ordinary Joe. It's Joe O'Connor who completes a major upset here.
Gary Wilson becomes the 5th seed to fall, but Ball Run is back in business.
He's sitting there on the naughty step. Youth prevails over experience. Si Jawi defeats Mark Williams.
The former world finalist looks in the mood to go deep once again.
Jack is back in the winner's circle. What a match.
He's furious, the cue's on the floor.
Gilbert is through in a canter. The quarterfinals beckon.
For the 2nd year in a row, Jack Jones has come from the qualifiers to reach the quarterfinals.
Once again, Kyren Wilson is saving his most special snooker for the Crucible.
He marches into the quarterfinals of the World Championship.
And what a match this is turning out to be.
It's too high. Is it a double? There's no better doubler. It's there.
He was shaking on the black, but now it's shake, rattle and roll into the quarterfinals.
Jack Lisowski gave it everything, but it's Stuart Bingham who completes the quarterfinal lineup.
Can we please make sure all the phones are on silent or switched off?
Sorry, I thought that was switched off. I do apologise. That was Harvey Lisberg from Palm Beach.
Goodness gracious me, that must have hurt.
Dave Gilbert into the semi-finals. He's beaten Stephen Maguire.
Sweet revenge for the Warrior. Kyren Wilson raises his fist. It's a 4th World Championship semi-final appearance for him.
Jack Jones completes one of the great Crucible upsets. He's knocked out one of the tournament favourites, Judd Trump.
Never has the form book been so comprehensively ripped up, and the latest man to do it is Stuart Bingham. Ronnie O'Sullivan is out.
We're off and running then in the first semi-final.
Still nothing to choose after 16 frames. It's 8 each. World Championship semi-final number 2.
It's been a real battle here, just like the other semi-final. They cannot be separated. Kyren Wilson is the first man into the World Championship final.
What a night in the life of Jack Jones. The Welshman has defeated Stuart Bingham to book his place in a first World Championship final. He'll play Kyren Wilson for the title.
What a special tournament it's been. And the big question is, Jimmy, is your phone on silence?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. This guy
I
doesn't
got away with it.
Net guilty as charged. Rhiannon, for you, what's your stand-up moment been?
Oh, it's been a long tournament, but I'm going back to the first round, and it's got to be the tie of the round. It was Ding and Jack, wasn't it? Jack and Zowski. And what a fantastic match they put on, and we expected that, but it was just great to see 2 great players going toe-to-toe. No one could call that, and it was good to see Jack actually perform and beat an informed Ding as well, because Jack's obviously been missing a little bit, and he said himself he's not been 100% on the practice table, but he's such a great talent, and hopefully he can do bigger things in this game.
Unbelievable that he was a qualified, by the way, at the start of this tournament. Jimmy, what about yourself?
Well, similar to Jack, one of the players that got to semi-finals last year, CJRE, his first match against Mark Williams, he made a fantastic 70 break in the last frame, you know, just to show what a great player he is. He went on to lose to Jack Jones, but, you know, he's got all his shots, like, you know, he's got a fantastic cue action, and then he pots, in a few shots' time, he pots a pink into the yellow pocket that if he misses it, he can still lose the game. You know, he's just got this fantastic cue action for me. He got every shot. Now, this shot, he could have missed that straight in the heart of the pocket. You know, this boy will be back for me. And also, I think Maguire eating the bug during his match, and his celebration was next to none.
And in case you're thinking, surely that wasn't actually the case, he legitimately, we believe, we don't know, haven't had it confirmed, potentially ate a bug, Jim.
Well, Rhiannon reckons for sure, and like, he's a bug eater, but like, yeah. Look, a bit of catch up with that, perhaps, but yeah, he is a character for sure.
Let me tell you something else about Stephen Maguire. His own dog, this is true. He's got one of those dogs that, you know, drips a little bit here, and Stephen will go.
No!
Yeah.
No!
He's done it. Yeah. Cat's out the bag, Stevie.
Wow.
Sorry, pal.
What a guy he is. Under the bus today. Al, what about yourself? Stan, I think we know what it's going to be.
I'm going to go with Stevie's best mate in the game, innit? John Higgins, the clearance, the artful dodger clearance. How he did it again, I just don't know. You know, you think back to the 06 Masters, and he managed to do it against Ronnie. And I thought his days of picking pockets as large as this were maybe over, but this red that he pots here, for me, is actually the shot of the championship in many ways. Absolutely middled it. The brown was a brilliant shot as well, back onto the blue, and how he keeps churning out these performances. I love the look to the snooker gods there, but do you know what? I think I didn't ask John because it would be unbecoming of me, but I think that was a nod to his dad, you know, saying, I think it was just, we did it again kind of thing, you know. It was a fabulous moment.
It really was. I will not forget that one in a rush. Nor will I forget the moment when Dominic Dale, after 10 years of wait, came back to the Crucible. He was as delighted as we were. Look at that smile. The spaceman was back. Didn't necessarily have the best performance of his life. Kind of doesn't matter, but he did get a cheeky ton on the route. So massive congratulations, Dominic Dale. And we can also announce that he's proposed to his future. No, he hasn't really done that. But he's very, very happily in love. Dom, we love you, my friends. But in terms of the final, what a mouth-watering prospect we have. Can the unthinkable happen? Could it be a comeback for Jack Jones, or will that man go all the way to the finish line? Uncharted territory for both men. Kyren has never led going into a 4th session, and Jack Jones has never been in one. So how will they fare? and to bring you right up to date with the match as things stand, 3 sessions deep. So let's take a look back at how the third session unfolded.
And what a pot to open the final day from the Welshman.
And not enough side on the cue ball. That was another poor safety.
Kyren Wilson, 32.
As he knocks the red in. And this time, the yellow does go in. It stayed out last night and it came back to bite. Jack Jones, his dad, Colin, watching on, inscrutable as always, just like his son.
Jack Jones, 5.
The perfect start for the underdog. Kyren Wilson nods his head. He leads 11 frames to 7.
Oh, he caught the red, but it's okay. He didn't play that, but he'll take it.
59.
Just made sure of the black.
Just the one snooker then. Jack Jones is made of granite. He really is. Kyren Wilson's lead shaved to 3 again at 13 frames to 10.
Good shot. Excellent shot. Surely he's on the black. 14-11. Sounds a lot better than 15-10, doesn't it? Oh, it's too high. 52 ahead. Needs 2 reds still. It's not over yet. It's not over yet.
You cannot overestimate the degree of pressure out there right now. Is that Miss Yellow the moment when Jack Jones' realistic chances of turning this World Championship final his way receded? For Kyren Wilson, the dream is beginning to look like a reality. The Warrior is just 3 frames away from conquering the Crucible. Wilson, 15-10 to the good.
Tonight at the Crucible final, it is a mountain to climb for Cumbrian's Jack Jones. But as a Brit, I have to say, we love an underdog. And it's safe to say that the Welshman has fought like a banshee, but Al hasn't quite done enough to cross the line.
That's absolutely the story of this afternoon, and actually most of this match, barring the first session. Let's have a look back at it, because you're dead right, Radzi. He got within 3 frames a couple of times. Let's have a look at it here. When he gets 3 frames behind, I thought there's a shot coming up here, the one by Kyren. You see Jack has a pass at this red. It's a terrific effort, wasn't it? But he was in control of the frame at this stage, and he gets a little bit of luck. Now, Kyren's got a big decision to make. I think this is an absolute wonderful shot that he plays here, because he has a couple of outs. He has some options in terms of safety, but he takes this on. He's pretty much guaranteed he's going to leave one. A brilliant shot, wasn't it, to gain that little bit of control back in the match. The break-off then with Jack. Where are we here? I think we're 4 frames behind. The break-off is innocent, isn't it? No, it's not. Not a bit of it. You've got to be on it from ball 1. There you go. He didn't play another shot in that frame. A massive mistake. Back to 5 behind. Then what do we have? Kyren has a red. I've often said in the past a phrase, right? You can talk to positivity, but aggression won't listen. And this is what I mean by it. I'm just going to pause the cue ball here as it comes to rest. Just there, he's got a cut-back black that I don't think he's got any business playing. He plays it. Now, bearing in mind he's got a 5-frame advantage, does he need to play this? I think the answer's no. It goes wrong, he misses it, and in steps Jack and gets on his horse again and gets back into the match. Then what do we have? Again, the same thing. This is a massive risk that Kyren takes, this pink. No need to play it, but also the fact that he's just 3 frames in front at this stage. No need to play it. He's on a colour. Can easily get the cue ball in the baulk cushion, take your pick, but he's a bit lucky here. He gets a bit of help with a little bit of cover on the green. He doesn't leave a sitter. In fact, it's quite awkward. And Jack, unfortunately for him, obliges. Sorry, let's just drag it back and show you that shot properly. He's got this long red, but he's got to get the pot, otherwise the cue ball takes a different path and it catches a red. Damage done again. Just prior to this long red, the last of the session, he delivered a thunderbolt from deep baulk, did Jack. This isn't a thunderbolt, but it's a fantastic shot. Now, can lightning strike twice? That's what Jack's after. Well, it can't, because this black, I don't even want to show you that he misses. There's a bit of movement, isn't it? He walks away, the hand's giving it, all that sort of thing. He just didn't feel good. But somehow or other, he gets another chance, the very last chance of the session. He does the right thing here. He gets the red out into play. But now the pressure's on him to complete the clearance. If this yellow goes in, I think he would have done. But there's many a slip, twixt cup and lip, isn't there? Look at this. Doesn't go in, and Kyren just picked up the pieces from there. And Jack, if he's going to change this match, all tournament long, discretion has been the better part of valour. But that time has passed. Jack must attack.
Thank you very much. It's been 17 days of snooker school. I've learned so much. And by the way, you can talk to positivity, but aggression won't listen. That's actually made into a T-shirt, by the way. Jimmy, if this comeback is to happen, how do you think it can?
Well, the comeback Hendry done against me, I think 6 or 7 frames he made a break over 70. You know, he played sort of no-miss snooker. I think Jack has got to just play the session of his life. He's just got to... It's very difficult to blank out the score. He's just got to play one shot at a time, 1 frame at a time. If he wins the first 2 or 3 frames, it put Kyren under a bit of pressure. Still a mountain to climb, because I think Kyren would have gone and regrouped now. You know, I don't think there'd be any mistakes from him either.
How tough is it, Rianne, the closer you get to the line, almost that feeling that maybe it gets further and further away?
Yeah, especially in the World Championships, let alone your first World Championship final or your first big chance favourite in this opportunity for Kyren. It's like, do I read the scoreboard at 0-0? Do I reset and think, right, let me imagine that the score is like early on in the session rather than later on? But it's so hard to get past that look of the, right, I'm 3 frames away, right, deep breaths. Do I play the right shot? What is the right shot? It's total mind games, but Kyren does have that extra experience being a top player, regular, but does it go to show when it's your first world trophy at stake?
And we will see guaranteed a brand new world champion tonight.
Yes, we will. Will it be Kyren? It looks like that way at the moment, but you just never know. As I say there in that piece, Jack has got to attack, but he's got to get the balance right, because Kyren may sit back and just think, that's what Jack's going to produce, so I can just sit back, wait my chance and jump on it when it comes.
It's going to be a historic evening either way. Wilson versus Jones, England versus Wales, seed versus qualifier. It's time to bring out the boys.
The one and only Jack Jones. The 5-time ranking event winner in blistering form for the whole fortnight, the one and only Kyren Wilson.
This is going to be a fascinating and historic evening. There have been 23 world champions in the modern era. Who will be the next one? It's favourite versus underdog. It's seed versus qualifier. And tonight, the warrior versus the silent assassin.
Well, this championship began 4 weeks ago, the qualifiers. I was on the first match, Jensen Kendrick, Bai Yu Lu. There were 144 names in the draw at that point. 2 have survived to the last night, Kyren Wilson and Jack Jones. And Wilson is 3 frames away from winning the world title for the first time. 15-10, it's a good lead. It was the lead Luca Brissell had last year coming in against Mark Selby. Of course, he did hit back before Brissell ultimately got over the line.
Thank you to 26th frame. Kyren Wilson to break.
Session 4, the final session of the World Snooker Championship final here in Sheffield. Kyren Wilson needs 3 more and he's the champion. Jack Jones has had the tournament of his life. And there have been times in this final, having gone 7-0 down, where he's played really well. He's put Wilson under pressure. A couple of frames here and there that he could have won that he didn't have made the difference. He needs clearly the night of his life here. And he does have a chance straight away.
I haven't seen Kyren break off and leave that red. Barely in the entire championship. Often his break-off shot has been absolutely perfect, but not there. If he is going to perform anything, he's got to do it now, I think. The comeback's got to come immediately. I think he's gone perhaps too far on this red to make it nice. I think with a trace of right-hand side, he might be able to square it, make it a straighter angle. That is annoying, isn't it? Because he played the green so well. He's just overscrewed. I think he's going to have to play this. Straighten the angle. Cue ball ran and ran. Tough shot. Beautiful shot. That is such a good shot.
Yes, and he's going to get a lot of support, of course. The crowd love to see a close finish. These early frames are going to tell us whether it's likely or not. Of course, he was 7-0 down. I mean, at that point, we wondered whether we'd get to this final session.
12.
But he dug in last night, and again this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, they're actually 1 all on sessions and 1 level at 4 each, aren't they? But the one that he lost was such a heavy one. He just didn't get into the final until Kyren was just knocking everything in. But he's done ever so well, I think, since then. The odd time when he's forced the ball, just that extra bit of pace he's had to put in. When he's missed them, his accuracy is gone. He missed one into the left corner earlier, red, by a long way when he had to really force it. When he's playing them at a more comfortable pace, he doesn't miss anything. Yeah, I mean, if there is good news, he didn't get on the red he intended. So that is a consolation prize anyway.
Yeah, Wilson has taken his chances well in this final. Some of them this afternoon, it's got to be said, were the openings were sort of handed to him by Jones making mistakes and breaking down. What a night it is for Kyren Wilson. He's always believed he would be world champion. That's true, but of course there's only one way of proving it, and that's to actually get over the line. And he Needs 3 frames to do that tonight.
Foul and a miss. Kyren Wilson, 4.
They definitely come around and have a look at this, because there's a red to the middle, albeit fairly narrow, but as you can see, there's not a huge amount of pocket opening to aim at. Back is the verdict. So Jack Jones got really close to it, and where it's awkward, he's playing to swerve it initially, so it's hard to get the pace right when you're playing a swerve, not just hitting plain ball into 2 cushions onto the side of the bunch.
Okay, thanks.
I guess world champions come in all shapes and sizes, and right now Kyren has not been a world champion, but he could be on the brink. He's never going to be a touch player, Kyren. It's nothing for him to even need to be, but he's never going to be an O'Sullivan, a Ding Junhui, a Mark Allen, all about touch when he's in. He's got a ramrod straight cue action, and if he falls out of position and down that left side, just gets the rest out and knocks everything in with it. Yes, extremely potent force the way he's been playing. Safety's excellent, long game very good. Temperament extremely sound.
Yes, he's had 4 centuries in this final, 8 half centuries, Wilson. Jack Jones yet to make a century, 9 half centuries from him. Something just flying around. Thankfully Steve Maguire's not here, otherwise it might be in trouble.
Didn't go in cleanly, but it doesn't matter a jot really, does it? But he did get a nice nudge on the blue. Yeah, there's an argument that this final, Jack Jones would have gone up in people's estimations even more, I think, than what he'd achieved to that point. Shown great character and resilience in this match, because he didn't look like he had another big match in him at the very beginning. Yeah, he's regrouped. He's an absolutely superb competitor. Tremendous mental fortitude, I think, for someone so inexperienced at this level.
Yeah, of course, that frame last night, the last one, where Wilson got the snooker one after the black ball battle, it clearly made a big difference to, I'm sure, how he felt, Wilson, that is, leaving the Crucible last night. 11-6 rather than 10-7. He's just lost the cue ball here.
Yeah, occasionally he does that. He just slightly decelerates. So the spin he wants to keep on the ball has come off by the time he's hit it, and he meant to play on the red to the right corner there. Disappointing that for him.
Jack Jones, 13.
Now he's opened them up. Problem is, at this stage of the final, he's got to cut out all errors, really, and also you suspect will need a bit of help from Wilson if he starts to feel it.
The bottom line is he's been in twice with good chances, Jack Jones, this frame. He hasn't really made anything of them. So has he got one last push in him or not? I mean, if he didn't have anything left, he wouldn't hold it against him, or it wouldn't change anything about how he's played. He's been an absolute revelation.
Yeah, it's been worked out that if you count the qualifying and obviously his matches here, he's played something like 44 hours of snooker in this World Championship, so it's nearly 2 days. Obviously, Kyren wasn't involved in qualifying, so he hasn't played anywhere near that.
This looks pretty good. Not quite slipping in behind it. But that is, as I say, with Kyren Wilson, where his game is still strong, I think his safety, especially in that match with John Higgins, I felt, his long game and his safety was outstanding all the way through.
Well, the red to right middle is blocked by the pink, but there's one to left middle.
One.
Tried to thread the cue ball around the back of the black there.
Kyren Wilson, 1.
Needs a bit of help here. This is not bad at all. You just know sometimes on those shots that he didn't play it, and there's a little rueful smile from the usually poker-faced Kyren Wilson, because he knows that we all do that he didn't play there, he played to the cushion, and then you get right behind the yellow, and of course you wouldn't want to play that, because if it was anything but a direct hit, as we saw there, then you leave a red on. So now it's finished there, all the better for Jack Jones.
Well, look at the reds. I mean, they're very inviting, aren't they, for Jones at the moment? Not so much for Kyren Wilson, in a bit of a pickle. We've seen players before now in this scenario just give it a whack. I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah, he is. He's just giving it a big yahoo. He kind of said sorry, didn't he? As if he sort of knew he was going to, something good was going to come of it. But yeah, I actually think there's a little bit more pragmatism in that than what you think. You know, if you can't see a route, if you're hitting balls around the table, one might go in. It didn't quite happen, but he's not left an easy starter. This is not easy to get up for a colour off. That cue ball absolutely flew back down the table.
They all feel like big shots for Jack Jones right now. This black included, playing back for Reds. Has to get it. Nearly went in off, but he's okay. I thought it was interesting last night, the way he entered the arena. He was nervous on the first afternoon, and he had every right to be, but he came out, he was waving to people, smiling, played a lot better, and we saw similar tonight when he was introduced. You know, you've got to try and enjoy an experience that you've spent your whole life dreaming about, even though he is trailing.
Yes, I mean, last year's one thing, he got to the quarters and he was an absolutely superb competitive match player. But there was this sort of, somewhere in the back of people's minds, people thought it may be a one-off. Clearly not the case. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, the chances have come his way this frame, and I think now he's at the mercy of Kyren Wilson with a really good chance of just polishing off the frame. He has had 3 really great opportunities.
Yeah, you can see the disappointment. He knows he's at the point of no return really in this match. Trying to put pressure on, but you're not going to do that missing. I was thinking about Wilson coming in last year. He'd just been in the Tour Championship final where he played brilliantly in that event and was being talked up. John Higgins dismantled him 13-2 in the second round. Of course, he beat Higgins this year in the quarterfinals. I think that was a big win for him, just to sort of banish the ghosts of last year. Wasn't talked up at all this year because his form hasn't been there.
Well, it certainly brought out one of the more difficult reds. I suppose if he wanted to, you know, he could actually play the cue ball onto the red up below the pink here and also develop that. He didn't have to play it. Yeah, there's always a tendency players are not always so committed to doing that, but in winning this frame, he will need that right-hand red. So when is he going to bring it into play or pot it? Maybe late in the day or now off the pink. That's the other way. I hope he doesn't regret this because he has the chance to move that red right now off the pink. And I think when you're behind it feels often like you're just delaying the inevitable. You can get the lead in the frame, but the red on the cushion is key, especially if it stays on the cushion and is knocked 15. Out.
That was the miss from Jones when he was nicely in. And now this frame feels like it is about that last red.
23. $30. $31.
Well, here's another chance. I think he has to play to get the red out now.
38.
I mean, the pink is a possibility as a colour if the cue ball ends up not on the black or in the middle of the table.
$39.
Well, it doesn't need any words, does it, that? He's put it safer. And I don't think he's on the colour very well. Amazing. There might be a way of moving out here. The bump of the middle pocket is in play here, though, as well. So often that happens.
44. Kyren Wilson, 44.
Well, Jones obviously relieved that the miss pink hasn't cost him the frame. These are big moments, aren't they? He's trying to get a foothold in the session. And Wilson is trying to ease a bit of the pressure by pulling away even more. Remember, it was 13-10, so Kyren Wilson won 2 big frames to conclude the afternoon session.
Well, he definitely overhit that, and it's an easy thing to do when the pressure's on, the adrenaline's pumping. He hit that miles too hard. There was no need to play at that sort of speed, but it's just called pressure. just on the feel of this frame, it just feels as if Jack Jones is going to do well to win this, but maybe there is one last push in this frame, a frame he should have won on more than one occasion. Kyren might feel a bit unlucky not to have won it at his last visit. But I think with Jack, you know, if he could somehow scramble his way over the line in this frame, against the odds as it seems, maybe there's still something left. It might just galvanise him a little bit for what's to come. If he loses it, well, it appears there's not much way back from there, especially given he should have won the frame. Anyway, he's played a lovely shot there, typical of the man. Yes, he should hit it, but with the yellow and green there, it's hard to know where anything's going to finish with any certainty. Red could easily hit one of those two balls. Or they could come in his favour, as they have.
Foul. And a miss. Kyren Wilson, 4.
It could have been worse in some ways, you know. I mean, he'd probably put him back in, I should think. Unless he particularly fancies this.
Back in.
But, you know, from that shot that he missed, anything could have happened again. He's just hanging on in this frame by his fingertips. Jack Jones,
just 2 balls next to the yellow, in fact.
Just hoping for something.
2 balls next to the yellow.
Paul Collier refereeing his last ever session of snooker because he's retiring from the refereeing game. He's going to take up a role as tournament director with World Snooker Tour. A presentation was made to him shortly before we began.
Yep.
Everyone here, whether they're playing or officiating or commentating or watching as paying spectators,
keep going,
can feel the excitement, the tension of this great theatre, this great championship. That extends when you go outside the venue and pubs and restaurants all around. And I met some fans last night. They got their tickets for next year already. They went on sale yesterday. They were very happy to get tickets for the final and various other sessions.
No, not through it. No. No. Needed to be more this way if we're going to go through it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Kyren, thanks.
Well, that is possibly the killer blow in the frame, and, you know, possibly even the match. I know he's not on the brink of winning, but he's on the brink of going 6 up again.
Yes, it would be for the first time since he led 10-4 last night.
One.
He's got a slightly ticklish shot here. Which way did he get onto the yellow? With the green there, it's stopping him playing very easily on the yellow into the top right, the green pocket, in case he went behind it. It's not a simple positional shot. Played it as safe as he could have done, so this really feels like the last shot of any degree of difficulty rolling this in. Gave it every chance. Great shot. Not a classic frame, but a very significant one, I think. One that Jack Jones knows he could have won.
Yeah, I mean, it was one thing to be in that snooker, but of course the pink was the key ball. He'd had a couple of chances actually before then, but he missed that pink to the middle, and that turned the frame certainly in Wilson's favour. Remember Kyren Wilson
14.
in the final, his previous appearance here in the final 4 years ago was beaten 18-8 by Ronnie O'Sullivan. But now he's 2 frames from becoming champion. Jack Jones needed to make a good start. He hasn't done. And Kyren Wilson ploughs on here at the Crucible into a 16-10 lead.
So just looking back at this frame, it was the one certainly that got away, I feel, for Jack Jones. He did play a good shot there. This is, you know, after enough chance had gone his way, which he hadn't exploited really. Here, I mean, I suppose the balls could have gone anywhere for Kyren, but he got a stroke of luck. He did make good contact on the red, in fairness. Nearly potted this in the middle at first. I thought that had gone in. But that was his last shot of the frame, because you know, Kyren, he's played better frames than the one he did here, but he got the job done. So 16-10, I mean, really feels a massive lead, doesn't it? Let's be honest about things.
7.
We'll have to see what happens from here on in. But there was just the first real signs there that perhaps Jack Jones is not quite in the same form he was. Let's see if that changes from now on in.
Kyren Wilson leads the world final 16-10 against Jack Jones. A lot of interest, of course, on this match, not least from our colleague Rolf Kalb, who's German Eurosport commentator. He has been since 1989. He's retiring tonight after this match, after a long and distinguished service in the sport, helping to explain the great game to German fans. We see him every year as well at the Tempodrome as MC, so I hope Rolf's enjoying the night, and he's going to be missed, but I'm sure we'll still see him down the way at exhibitions and hopefully at the German Masters as well. In terms of the match tonight, well, it was quite a lengthy frame, that wasn't it? Half an hour, quite scrappy, but Jack Jones just didn't take the chances he got. And there's been a few frames, let's be honest, in the final like that. It's funny, if he does lose tonight, I think he'll be disappointed. Obviously, in a couple of days, he'll look back at what he's achieved and know it's a great achievement and also a great springboard for next season. He'll be in the top 16, whatever. Champion of champions, all of that stuff to look forward to. But this man, he's looking like our champion. And as I say, it's something he's believed for a long time that he could do. It's been a difficult time for him coming into the event. His wife has been ill. One of his sons got injured at school. Real life was there in the background, but here in the sanctuary, if you like, of the Crucible, he's found great form. Right from the off, he beat Dominic Dale, of course, 10-1. Comfortable win over Joe O'Connor. The Higgins win, I think, was big. Pulled away from Gilbert in the semi, and he's in control of the final. There's only 27 names engraved on the famous silver trophy, and it was first presented in 1927, so it is the ultimate achievement in this sport.
The 27th frame. Jack Jones to break.
for someone like Jack Jones, that was like a slow death, wasn't it? Because it was always going to go in, but only just make it from a long way out.
Yeah, you sort of see the player stand up at this point and then slowly have to sink back into their seat. The kiss wasn't bad either, actually.
You made the point, and I know that what you say is right, that Kyren Wilson has always believed he'd be world champion, but there were a lot of people over the years that also believed they'd be world champion that never did. So that is one thing, and it's nice to believe, but he has put that belief into a lot of practice, hasn't he, to get to this point in his life. And you can't deny him this because, you know, the work that goes in, the cue action, quite grooved. Maybe not the most gifted player ever, but what difference does that make? I don't mean it in a bad way, because some of the players with the ultimate gift aren't always prolific winners. Some are, but some are not. He's had a lot of big breaks this season. Even in defeat, he was always knocking breaks in. I suppose it was only a matter of time before everything clicked into gear for him. This shot's not gone right, though. Cue ball just went too far. This looks a bit quite unpleasant as well, doesn't it? For Jack.
Kyren Wilson 11.
Well, has he got away with this? Kyren Wilson comes round, scratches his head. There you go. Well, Jones needs every bit of help he can get right now, including from Lady Luck. What a great picture it is. As I say, these two grown up, obviously watching the World Championship, dreaming of playing in the final. Wilson's been in it once, but it was COVID times. There wasn't a full audience. Yeah, made the plant nicely. There it is again. You can see how far the reds are apart.
You can see what he was trying, but of course the problem's always going to be the other red. He's a bit unlucky, really, isn't he? He's finished right in line, but I suppose the problem is the red has to go somewhere down that channel, so Things tonight have been a little awkward for both players. The balls haven't quite run. The pressure and the tension, of course, is huge. Goes without saying.
Blue ball.
It's a great effort, and also I suppose he thought he might cover the pocket with it on that red, but it's a nice opportunity when someone gets in blue over one pocket, black close to the other. Where's the first red of those coming from, though? It could be that the black is allowing it to be quite a big pocket. He might go for the red here, you know. This left-hand red, in on straight or off the black. Oh, good shot. Good shot. It's a big pocket, they call it. There's two ways of potting it, directly or by using the black ball.
Six.
Well, the coronation will have to wait. Wilson was in, but took on that tough blue, and now Jack Jones is in, as he was in the first frame of the night. He's just developed a reputation in this championship for not going away. Just when you think it's a match too far, he seems to find something. He did against Trump, he did against Bingham.
Yeah, I have him down as a modern day, really tough Welsh player. You know, you're the likes of Terry Griffiths, who won here in '79, Doug Mountjoy, former finalist, really, you have to just scrape me off the table sort of player. Try as hard as they possibly can. He's in that mould.
Well, he was discovered, or his talent was, by another Welsh player, Darren Morgan, who reached the semis here 30 years ago. And Darren runs a club, and actually today he gave some of the youngsters there free practice to say, look, this is what Jack's achieved. Come along, have a go, see what you think. It might be the sport for you.
$14. $19. $20. $26. 27.
There's a real hush here in the Crucible because if there was to be anything in this match still, and there's still a chance of that, it might have to originate from this leave. I thought that the red by the black initially was potable. I don't think Jack believes it
32.
does. Got a little glimpse of it, and I thought at first that it went, but I don't think it possibly can, or else surely he'd have played it.
$33.
That'll do nicely.
40. $41.
Well, he mustn't play on the red below the black here because he absolutely doesn't want to risk missing it. If he was behind, he might think about playing on it. He just about... Cue ball limps its way up to the required area, but only just
48.
made it.
$49.
This black will mean there's 40 in it, so red colour again. He could play on the low red, but he really doesn't want to be doing that.
$56.
Yeah, this is typical Jack Jones, really. Quiet efficiency. Needs 2 more pots here to win his first frame of the evening.
$57.
Father on the right there, Colin. He's been stoically in his corner this whole match. Of course, his whole life supported him. And isn't his son doing him proud again? Resilience is the word, I think.
Yeah. Very durable, all those words that
62.
Basically mean you're tough and you're almost impervious to the pressure and the strain of it all. He's done well here because he did look a little bit like he'd run his race, I thought, in the opening frame of the evening. But I think we've all done that. We're all guilty of thinking that there was nothing left for him. I don't think Kyren ever took it lightly, playing this man. He's not that well known outside of the game, and quite honestly, not hugely known about inside of the game. I heard other leading players said they didn't know a great deal about him. That would be rare in snooker.
Well, we're in a theatre, but the script of this match is being written frame by frame. We don't know the outcome. We don't know the ending.
Yeah, and sometimes you think you know the ending, don't you? But it doesn't always go that way.
78.
Well, he can now make his first century of the final. That would get a big
80.
cheer here. There's no doubt. And it's nothing against Wilson. The crowd here, they paid their money. They'd love to see a close finish. Of course they would, to the World Final.
83. $87.
Yeah, you mentioned, of course, last year when the same scoreline with Luca Purcell and Mark Selby. Luca went 16-10 up, and then Selby rattled off 5
92.
in a row to make it very dramatic. This was the terrific red. I mean, you may think, well, that looks a bit reckless or dangerous, but not really. Big pocket, and this has been a really top-class break.
Well, this is what he needs, isn't it? To be winning frames in a single visit. Jack Jones' first century of the final. Wilson's lead cut to 16-11. Yeah, that was terrific. As we look back on the frame, this was the attempt at the blue.
Yeah, and I thought it was quite a fair shot at the time. You think, well, you know, he's either going to pop the blue or block the pocket, but I don't think, maybe Kyren didn't immediately see the threat of that red off the black. It was a brave shot, but I suppose it's not in any way the wrong shot. I thought he actually played a good shot to get from the blue to the red after that as well. And even now, you don't know that he's going to clear the table.
30.
Played a good shot here on the black where he screwed off the red, and then Cubel raced up the table onto the left-hand one. It would have been unlucky not to be on something there. Took the reds in the right order, i.e. didn't play on the red with the that was close to the cushion until he didn't have any choice but to play it. And that was an excellent break.
It's not just that Jack Jones has won the last frame, it's how he did it. His first century, it's the 5th of the final overall. And just raises the prospect of a concerted comeback. There's 2 more frames before the interval. If he can win them both, it's all ifs and buts, I know, but if he can win them both and he can win them well, it does mean an uncomfortable 15 minutes maybe for Wilson, who still has a healthy lead. Key thing about that frame is Jones didn't falter when the chance came, which he had done in the first of the night.
Beautiful striking. And at a very opportune moment that's come for Kyren. If he needed a little confidence boost after sitting out a century. So in first, chance to fill his boots here.
Seven. Eight.
I think what Wilson has definitely always had is hunger.
15.
He was on the tour for a season 2010 when you didn't get a 2-year card in those days. He dropped off. He went to Q School. He actually played Jack Jones twice in the Q School. Neither of them actually got their places through it that year. Kyren spent 2 years working in the snooker club behind the bar, resolving to improve, get back on and stay on and rise the ranks. And he did that pretty rapidly. He played here 2014. 18 months later won his first ranking title in Shanghai
23.
and became a top player. Lovely shot.
24.
He's got them open. So Jack Jones made a century, but Wilson has got himself into a nice position here already 31. In this frame.
Yes, and the feature of that Jack Jones break was not only the break building, but the fact he would not be rushed. You know, he occupied the table for long enough to make Kyren Wilson think that it's my turn, I'm going to do the same, I'm just going to stay at the table. And there's 32. No reason to believe he won't make a lot of leeway here. What a chance he's got. The opening red was superb.
$37. Wow.
Wow, what a twist. Is it the pink?
Goodness me, what can you believe that? The pink doesn't even look like it's in the way, does it? It looked like the red was sort of in front of the pink. Well, that's a little bit of a real surprise, big surprise even. I don't know if he wasn't aware of the pink being in the line of the shot because it was covered by the red. The first red that maybe was in his eye line. I would say that's a very unusual way to foul.
What? Seven.
Well, Wilson had got the balls open very early and given himself what looked like a great chance, but it passes to Jones. It must be as surprised as anyone what happened there.
$14. $15.
Well, it definitely hurt Wilson if he had played his last shot in this frame and it was that foul. Yes, we know he's got a healthy advantage, but I mean, that was such a wonderful chance he'd given himself. It seemed hard to think he wouldn't
20.
win the frame there. Never mind, hit the wrong ball on the way through.
21. $28. $29.
I think he's just gone far enough on the blue. I always used to, sitting in my chair, watching my opponent, watch where their cue was lined up to the opposite middle pocket to find out if they had any angle. And I think you'll see that it just top side, there it is. Means he's got something to play with on the angle.
$34.
Now again, important that he can get the right position on the blue from this shot. Absolutely A1.
35. $40.
The decision is to run through onto the black or, again, up for the blue. But even though the table's good from here on in, there are the slight complications. Those two reds on the left, they might just get in the way of him playing on the one by the pink. So what does he do here? He's done the wrong. He's made the worst mistake you can make there.
Jack Jones 40.
He had that all on his mind. All he had to do was play up on the blue, and he's chucked away. What a chance! He put a right-hand side on this. He took a risk.
One.
He's furious with himself because he's running out of time. Could have landed a real blow there.
He just can't stop thinking about the shot he played.
8.
The decision he made.
Well, the Wilson family, pensive but happier now. Their lads at the table. This final could have been a lot closer. There's been some key frames. Of course, the last one
15.
last night. There's been a couple today.
$16. $22. $23.
Blue, yellow, green is what he needs. Good grief.
Has he snookered himself? Surely he hasn't done.
28.
You know, I think he has. He must have done. I think he just thought he's going to go a little bit too far, but not behind the brown. Desperately looking for a way. He might be able to do it with a little bit of right-hand side. That's a big mistake, to be honest. He could have played in and out of bulk. He wanted a hold, but the angle was wide. Very interesting. Both players made a decision which was...
28.
They were in two minds what to do. He could have held or played through bulk and back up. He took the route to hold. It was not dissimilar to the Jack Jones decision to play on the black, not the blue. And it's only pressure that has made them make the wrong call. Oh, this is huge, isn't it, if this goes in? Goodness me.
Sure, Jack Jones can't believe he's even had a chance at the yellow, but it stays out. Runs safe.
Conscious effort to knock the black off its spot, I think, making the clearance more awkward from Jack.
Yeah, it's a full ball snooker, this.
Foul. And a miss. Kyren Wilson full.
Ultimately, it probably won't make any difference. You've got to be a bit careful here because still, even though the green is there, he could still go in off into the top right pocket. Could swing past the green and then go in there if he hits half ball on the yellow. Well, he's played it well. He's played that ever so well. The frame lives on, very much so.
You can just see a bit of the yellow coming off the top cushion. It's a bit of a test for him right now. I mean, he only needs, well, he's 23 in front, so yellow and green, but he's had two golden chances already to win the frame. In terms of his mindset, if he doesn't, then, you know, it's a big test.
Foul.
Well, now, with the in off, Jones can only tie.
I think Kyren Wilson will be very relieved because, like you say, the two chances he had, I never thought for 1 second he'd miss either or fail to take either. And yes, he could still lose the frame to that man. Jack could take it on a respot. I just feel that that in-off has just eased the pressure somewhat on Kyren Wilson. increasingly more difficult to make the clearance where the balls are now going. Pink and black, decidedly awkward from here. Well, it's a difficult shot, this yellow. He can get to it. Good goodness me, look at the queuing into these not so generous pockets this year. Yellow to green, it would be a very good shot. Oh, that's just superb. That is such a beautiful shot. It never touched the sides.
Five.
Well, you know where this is all leading, don't you? The black along the cushion, only to force the respot, but this yellow, lovely striking.
Nine.
No, he's gone too far. It mightn't be the end of the world. Of course, he'd like to have not had the problem of taking the cue ball around the angles. Doesn't want to go too far on the pink, so he can't get to the black.
Well, Wilson's going to come out to the table. The question is, will it be for the respot or before that? We're about to find out.
20.
Yes, he must only roll this. It's just no other shot but to drop this in. If it doesn't go in, then frame over, but you've got to give it every chance on these tables.
Bill Murmur went round the Crucible there. Everybody knows what a big shot this is. It's looking good. It's looking good. So the black comes back on to decide the frame. He potted a fantastic yellow, didn't he? What a clearance. Again from Jack Jones. He will just not go away. Kyren Wilson had two gilt-edge chances, though, to win that frame. Caught the pink potting that red, or trying to pot the red, and then lost position on the yellow. He's looking thoroughly fed up as he's asked to pick a side of the coin. Here we go. Respotted black.
So black to the right cushion, cue ball to the left is the norm these days. Never quite know what to do here. He could almost play the double to the left corner, but in the same process trying to just put separation between the balls. I mean, if the double went in, I mean, you'd bring the house down, I think. But the Kyren Wilson break-off on the respot was pretty well played, has to be said.
Well, they had an epic battle, didn't they, last night? Last frame of the day on the black. But Wilson ultimately won. Any chance, though, for Jones to win this title? He's got to win this battle.
I think he might have got a double kiss there, you know. What a chance.
Well, he potted that ticklish black along the top cushion. He's got a long one here to pull one back a frame. Kyren Wilson could have won twice. not to beat at that attempt anyway.
Well, he's had his chances now, hasn't he? I mean, they both have. I didn't see him missing that one. He has knocked it safe, though, as if it just couldn't end just yet, could it, this frame? It's been an absolute epic. And you just wonder now if it is going to be a repeat of last night. What a chance this was. The black actually almost left the bed of the table there. That's the classic way of playing it. Perfectly done.
This is close. This is close. It's in. Wow. He coolly lays his cue down on the table. What a dramatic finish to the frame. A rueful look from Jack Jones. He's got it all to do now. He's trailing 17-11.
Well, I mean, I can't even get my breath after that frame. The way it ended, unbelievable. Anyway, this was a great clearance, I have to say. Whatever happened on that black, all you can say is Jack Jones, you know, had his chance. This was very coolly done. And in such an epic frame where he missed this, there was just sort of shades of that last frame with Anthony McGill, wasn't there? I mean, he fluked this black. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He may not have flinched, but I think he just had to walk off. But this was a fluke. I mean, it has to be a fluke. And what a huge one it was.
Well, in terms of the scoreline, the match isn't close, but the dramatic sort of moments we've had have been plentiful, and we saw another one there, a respot that Kyren Wilson's fired all the way around the table. It's gone into one of the pockets, and as I say, he sort of nonchalantly walked off as if to say, well, I'm having that frame, however I'm going to get it. And it means, of course, he's now on the brink. 17-11. One more to become champion. Jack Jones, as I say, a rueful look, but he had his chance at the black, of course. He had a good chance, having made the terrific clearance, yellow to black, to force the respot. Had the good chance to the yellow pocket and did not make it. But this was this was how it ended.
He didn't put his hand up, but it's a fluke. And if it isn't, you know, it amounts to it anyway, because you're not going to be good enough to play this shot. Had he missed it, of course, the black's staying very close to the pocket. Amazing finish to a frame, that. But if Jack Jones feels unlucky, then he really should have potted that black the shot before, as we know. But it was a frame with so many things that you thought were going to happen, but eventually it ended differently.
Well, Kyren Wilson strides back into the arena, needing now to play one more good frame and indeed take any more luck that's going. Jack Jones, I'm sure, will get a big cheer as he emerges as well, but the position is very stark now. He's got to win 7-0 from here. Here he comes. So the point of no return for Jack Jones.
Jack Jones
17-11 in arrears in this race to 18.
Yeah, you kind of felt that black was just always going to go in from an early point, as if it was heading only one way, and Jack Jones still laughing up to his balcony with his family and friends up there. Kyren has really felt it, you know. I mean,
Jack Jones 4.
Had that frame been won by Jack Jones, has really, let's be honest, it should have done in the end. You know, they're not like, you can see the pressure getting to Kyren actually, but the release of pressure now that he's just got one frame to win, surely.
The whole event is pressure, isn't it? From the minute you walk in the door on day one, the enormity of it. The Kyren would have been here for the media day. It's the one tournament, you know, the media, the wider media take an interest in, the wider public take an interest in. They know you if you win this, and they remember if you don't.
Beautiful shot. It really is. That ball striking is as good as it gets to knock the other red out there.
Can you please make sure your phones are on silent?
Well, cheer up, Paul. You won't have to say that many more times when you retire. It's been a bit of a trial for the officials at times, this event.
8.
Just trying to get the phones switched off or switched on to silent.
Nine. $16. $17.
Well, I wonder if that
Jones,
could be
17.
approaching the end of the matter. Kyren Wilson left with a very easy opener. Again, it's been the theme of some of these frames. It's been presented with great chances.
One. Eight.
The split could have gone better. He has a choice of a couple of reds, both with something very awkward about them.
Kyren Wilson, 8.
Well, all good things come to those who wait. He's having to be patient. The split didn't quite work out.
very accurately played, wasn't it, to the middle? Perfect way to aim it, just at the top jaw, just went down very slowly. Got a red to the opposite middle, which is not easy, but it's easier than the one he just knocked in, put it that way. Well, he just missed the black off the spot, and this one, I guess, is missable also, and he's landing on any number of reds, so this has to go in. Must admit, when he first hit it, I thought he'd overcut that. It held its line surprisingly well.
Well, it's a chance for sure, a good one, but they're all there for him if he breaks down. They're all there for Wilson to get this tournament won. Yeah, well, I wasn't sure myself, but it went in. Can he take this final to the last interval? Someone actually asked me before the tournament who will be this year's Jack Jones, i.e. who will come out the qualifiers and, you know, maybe reach the quarterfinals. It turned out the answer was Jack Jones, so he's gone even further. Here he is on the last night. Incredible what he's done, what he's achieved.
$25.
Well, they're not all going in the middle of the pocket, but it doesn't make any difference, although it does
30.
Leave you a little edgy watching it.
$31.
Black puts him 51 in front, and there's enough open reds to close the gap again. As I say, there would be an interval. A lot of people yesterday at 7-0 were sort of thinking there wouldn't be a session.
38.
They were planning exhibitions, all sorts of things.
39.
So this ball is flame ball. I guess life can be all about what ifs, and things could have been different. The two black ball frames that Kyren has won, the last frame and the concluding one last night, seem to have made a huge difference to things. And the fact that Jack was just not at the races early has to be said. He did trail 7-0, but Kyren was extremely good in those early frames. It wasn't all about Jack not being there.
52. $53.
Well, as I said earlier, he's just refused to go away during this championship. And again here, after the rather traumatic end of the last frame for him, he's come out and made a nice break. And it means there's going to be an interval. And if he wins the tournament now, he knows it'll be the biggest fairy tale ever. Not just for him to win it, but he would have made the greatest comeback ever.
59.
Wilson still needs one.
66.
The crowd were applauding it in on its way. Misses the blue, but crucially has extended the final. They are going to the interval. It's been a fascinating and exciting start to the concluding session of the 2024 World Championship finally. Sitting down, I don't think he realises it's the interval, but it is. And Kyren Wilson has the advantage as they go off. You're still in it, Jack. It's 17-12.
It's great to see Jack Jones still smiling. How much does he have left in the tank? It really would be a monumental comeback if he were to even challenge for it at this stage. And as for Kyren Wilson, it would be his first ever Triple Crown. So whatever happens, we're gonna see history. Now, as for the season that this reaches the culmination of, it really has been a fantastic season. A number of champions, a number of names, a number of new names as well. Of course, some old ones in the form of Mark Allen, Judd Trump and Ronnie O'Sullivan. So let's remind ourselves of this brilliant, unforgettable season.
Ali Carter and Barry Hawkins are playing some of the best stuff they've played for a long time.
Gary Wilson's won 2 ranking events this season. He did win one last season as well. So I guess to back that up and win 2, you probably have to say he's probably the most improved.
Someone I grew up playing a lot of junior stuff with. I know how good Gary is. It took him a long time to break through. So you can look at him being a consistent winner now, and I think that's only a sign of things to come.
Probably going to have to say someone like Zhang Anda.
And the Zhang.
Probably Chris Wakelin.
There was one of the China tournaments that Judd won, and I don't think anyone the whole week got close to him in any of the matches. I think that's probably the standout performance, or possibly myself in the Jump of Jumps.
I'll be Ronnie's semi-final against Ding in the Grand Prix. If Ronnie's saying he played great, then you know he played great.
Probably be Judd, against Ander Zhang. 7-3 down in the English, looked like going 8-3 down. And Ander was playing some great stuff like he has done this year. Yeah, probably that win for Judd.
Has to be Ander Zhang winning China, all of a sudden, out of nowhere.
I'll just say myself.
My own personal one, winning 3 tournaments in a row, was pretty special and something that not a lot of players have done.
My 147 at the Masters, I think that's probably the biggest crescendo. I was all over the place and the crowd were getting involved, and to see that last blackening and the atmosphere at the end was crazy, something I'll never forget.
Between 2, isn't it? So
people are going to jump on me for this, but I say Judd.
It'd have to be Judd Trump, only because of the tournaments he's won in the finals.
Overall player of the year will have to be Judd, I suppose,
Has to be JT.
I think in terms of the prestige of the events, you'd have to say Ronnie, because he's won the UK, he's won the Masters.
Both of them, Ronnie and Judd.
Zach Shirley in China against Ding, live on TV, a relatively unknown in the game.
I'm going to go Zach Shirley because fair play to him, and no one would necessarily have seen that coming.
Not just because it was against me, but I'd say Mark Allen at the Masters because of the occasion it was in.
Sean Murphy's in the shootout was an incredible. I managed to see most of the break live and I was kind of cheering him on. It's not going to happen very often. It may not ever happen again.
Sean Murphy's 147 at the shootout. It was absolutely amazing.
Sean Murphy's 147 at the shootout.
That'll never be beaten, will it? 12-147 in a shootout, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, incredible.
There was one recently against Ding in the final that I remember, a long blue to get the pink out.
But that's one of the great shots you'll see all season.
So I'm going to say that one.
We knew it was a massive task for Jack Jones to come back, but not insurmountable. And as ever, Jack Jones showed us tenacity, but Kyren Wilson doing what he needed to do, encroach on the finish line. Now just one frame away from kissing the silver lady. He's been a pro since 2010, and what a moment that would be if it were to happen. And now, just a word for Jack Jones. He's gone through qualifiers. He's played 5 now, almost very hard matches. He has really emptied the well.
He has. I don't honestly know how much he has left in reserve now. You know, there's a couple of shots that we'll get to a bit in this section where it wasn't the white flag of surrender. I don't mean it that way, but there's a couple of shots that he doesn't really want to be playing, and he's just kind of playing them because obviously he's staring down the barrel now. But he's just got to try and keep fighting for another couple of hours, because you just never know.
And now, Jim Rather, great to see a century. The first one, actually, in his last 2 matches, showing us what he is capable of. And it was a tough century.
Yeah, you know, what he does, once he gets cueing and he's nice and smooth, you know, he goes through the ball fantastic, and he makes the game look easy. He's got, like, the same cue speed. Kyren plays to try and block the pocket with the blue. The blue nearly goes in, he's unlucky there. And then this left-hand pocket, Jack's got a very big pocket with the red. All he's got to do is get that red anywhere near the black, and it hits the cushion and goes off. He's got the blue over the pocket. Now, he's under extreme pressure here at the moment, but he somehow gets himself together. That was a sort of a nice, controlled positional shot. And as soon as he gets in the balls, he goes on to make a century. You know, nice settler, you know, fantastic break under the circumstances.
And then out a frame that Kyren did what he had to do, but it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't, and it eventually came down to a piece of cruelty that we're going to see. That is a wonderful shot in the yellow, possibly the best shot he's played in the match, actually, because he's looking to obviously clear here to get the respot. And if this black goes in, that's exactly what we've got. Knocked in, no problem, and then we come to the respot. And this is what the frustration that Jack is still carrying with him throughout this match is bad enough. And then you get to this next shot of 3 cushions that we're going to see Kyren. It was reminiscent, wasn't it, of the semi-final in the other pocket against McGill a few years ago. It just had that look when it reaches there, you kind of know it's in. And look, there was no apology from Kyren, but I think we're past that stage now. It's just, we'll see it again here. You almost don't want to rub it in to your opponent. You know, he's devastated enough to see that. But as I say, that puts him on the precipice of the world title now, and that might just put, it's a bit of a sickener for Jack.
Jim, I have to say, what was very telling was when Jack missed that, we'll call it easy black, your first response was, this place does crazy things to you.
Absolutely. You know, the blackie just rolled along the black cushion to tie the frame. It's like such a difficult shot. And that was an easy shot, and he come across it. But Alan's right. There's part of his game throughout this whole match where he's missed very easy balls, like talking about that yellow earlier on, last night to go within 3 instead of 5, he missed a couple of balls. So that's in the back of his mind, you know, and it has to be said, there's been quite a few balls missed. But, you know, to knock in that last break and to stay in the match is a fantastic effort from Jack.
And now, frame 29, almost seemed like he was liberated from the pressure. At that point, Jack, he's just playing because he can, but not expecting much from himself.
Yeah, this is what I mean. This is actually like the Mark Williams shot in the last frame of the final against John Higgins in the other middle, strangely enough. But again, you see that he's leaving a red to the far right corner, and he knows that. So that's what I mean about he's kind of not half given in, but he's prepared to play shots that he normally wouldn't. This is a nice shot to keep things ticking along here, and then the black, the little cut back to just the near jaw, which thankfully for him goes in, and then he gets himself into nice position. And nice to see that when he gets his chance, he's still hitting the ball actually quite nicely, because the next red, the straight one from that position, was a lovely shot to knock in, and it's good to see him smile just leaving the arena, isn't it? As I say, just got to somehow summon up the spirit of Selby, I think we said last night, isn't it? You know, it's so difficult. He's been in Sheffield about 4.5 weeks, I think.
He sat in his seat there. He didn't realise it was the interval. Paul Collier had to tell him, well, you've got a 20-minute break.
Yeah, Shredsville, I think, is the technical Eurosport term for this one. And talking about this place, it does strange things to you. You can feel it in the studio. Rachel, how does it feel where you are, being so close to the table?
Well, Radzi, it was tense just a few minutes ago during that black ball finish, and exciting, but it's a little bit quieter now. But, well, that was amazing, wasn't it, Rianne? Just 2 frames ago, they were on their feet, and this audience, they want more snooker tonight. They are not done with this final, and neither are we.
No, definitely not. It's so exciting. Obviously, we didn't think we would get this excitement from this final, but these two players are delivering, especially Jack. He's got the crowd on his side, and it's such a tense way to end that frame. But, yeah, a fluke could cost him here.
Oh, man. And there's so many frames that, you know, if Jack is to lose this final, he'll look back on that last frame last night, you know, a frame that he probably coulda, shoulda won, Rianne. And these are the fine margins, you know, between becoming champion here.
Yeah, most definitely, especially over a long format. He could be up in this match himself. He could be the one just needing that one frame. It has been that close. I know the scoreline doesn't suggest that, but he is just so close to being the winner out here. He still could be, but he's looking unlikely with Kyren, but he's been fantastic. He's one ball away from taking the real tight frames when it matters.
And that's quite interesting, because if you look at early in the tournament with Jack Jones, you know, even against Si Jiahui, Si actually scored more points in the match, and Jack Jones won it. So he's been kind of winning those real tough, hard frames, those long frames. He's a real tough match player, but he's not been doing it in this match.
No, not as often, but he's just shown great tenacity, his determination, his will to win, to stick in there, and just basically do what he can to make Kyren miss, and that's what he's doing at the moment.
How much more have we got in this final, do you think, Rianne?
Oh, I think we could go all the way here.
Oh, come on. Who's going to be crowned champion tonight?
I'm going to go for Jack.
Going for Jack, you're going to be here all night, and these fans, well, they'd absolutely love it. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Rianne. Well, I have to say, it does feel like somewhat of an inevitability here in the Crucible. Kyren Wilson just 1 frame away from lifting that gorgeous trophy. We've had a look back at the season so far throughout its entirety from an objective standpoint. Now let's do it through the eyes of the greatest snooker player of all time, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Hendon, isn't it? Has to be, without a doubt. He's always been a really good player. He's always like, I've had a lot of practice session with Hendon years ago, you know, and he would get the better of you on, you know, it's 50-50, and then just wouldn't do it in tournaments. You thought, okay, there's a reason for that. Don't know what it is, but obviously that he's overcome whatever that reason was now, and he's playing some really good snooker. I think Mark Williams has been putting in more good performances than any player. You know, if you was to... Me, I'm good, bad down there, but Mark Williams is just is sort of like... His line just goes like that. And for any snooker player, will tell you, you just want that. You got that, you've got it. You know, all that up and down business is no good to nobody. And Mark Williams is not throwing a kitchen sink. He's just kind of turning up, hitting balls, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, he's trying. He's focused, he's concentrating, but actually, like, just potting balls, and when he's at the table, he's fancying clearing up before he's even potted the first ball. What Gary Wilson done in Llandudno against John Higgins, nearly making a 147, then getting the 147, then going 5-0 up, then Higgins coming back at him, then him winning, and then him winning the final, being his second ranking. I think that was quite that match against Higgins stood out for me. I thought, this is pretty impressive stuff, you know. Probably have to say Judd. I think he's played a lot of tournaments, you know. So yeah, it's hard to do what he's done, you know, going from back to back to tournament to tournament to tournament. You know, he's just on it all the time. I wanted to do well in China, and he's won 2 big events in China, so I'd say, right, you can have my UK and have my Masters, because I've got loads of them. Like, I always set my stall out. I'm entering the China events, I want to do well in them. All right, I won 1, but I would have swapped my Masters in UK for his 2 in China, to be fair. Absolutely, yeah. I definitely have to say that shootout has got to be up there, you know, because to do it with that shot clock, one frame, all the noise of the crowd, that must have been some feat to do that, you know. And yeah, I reckon that's definitely up there. I'm not sure that'll ever be done again, you know. It's got to be one of Judd's, isn't it? He always sort of produces a shot where you just go like, how do you do that? I think that pink in the middle, I've never seen that one before, where he was playing Chris Wakely. And he potted the pink and he's come off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's maybe 6 cushions. I know how he does it, but to try and adopt that technique and get your cue to swing in like that is incredible, really.
That the finale here at the Crucible is just the start of a huge summer of sport on Eurosport and Discovery Plus, because we've got every stage live of the Giro d'Italia from now until the 26th of May, which, by the way, also coincides with the Roland Garros, and that begins on the 20th of May as Paris bids farewell to the king of clay, Rafa Nadal. What an ambassador he's been for tennis. And the most prestigious and oldest motorsport race in the world, the Le Mans 24 Hours, that returns on the 15th of June, and 2 weeks later, can't catch my breath here, we turn our attention to the 111th edition of the Tour de France. Every stage live once again, and we round off the summer with the Paris Olympic Games, and all that starts on the 26th of July. Just 5 reasons to mark your card and to continue to watch Eurosport and Discovery Plus. But the tale of the tape here at the Crucible, well, the stats make for a very interesting read, because percentage-wise, not only are they not that dissimilar, actually, Jack has closed that gap. But as for potted balls and total points and frames, different story. But one thing Jack can be is phenomenally proud. I've met a load of people from the Reds, his club, a lot of people from Cumberland who've come down to support him. He's done something incredible.
He has, and he's played in a different way, a very kind of old school way, the way that he's went about through the whole tournament. And he's managed to get to this position on 86% pot success. So it tells you a lot about his game. You know, he hasn't played his best snooker, far from it, but he's still in there. That's what he must try to believe. You know, we sat here a year ago tonight, and Mark Selby was in the mire against Luca, and I said, look, this ain't done yet. Expect a fight back. It will happen. But we knew it would with Mark Selby because we know what he's like. We just don't quite know if Jack's got it in him to perhaps, you know, just get Kyren under pressure again. He's had Kyren under pressure 2 or 3 times in this final, but he hasn't been able to build on it, and that's why he remains 5 frames behind again.
He's earned an awful lot of people's respect over the course of the last 17 days. The way that he has fought, just like Al said, in a very old-school manner. Now, we're seeing Kyren Wilson there backstage, obviously with Jack ready to go out. How important will it be for his own, if you like, ego to cross the line with aplomb, not fall across it?
For me, he's always going to stay aggressive, Kyren. If it does, let's say, for example, the match last year, Luca played incredible snooker. He was potting balls from everywhere. And Mark Selby, OK, he won them 5 frames on the spin to get back into the match. But this is sort of a different type of game. It's like bits and pieces. If Jack, say, wins the next 3 frames, Kyren is still going to be aggressive. He's still going to go for his shots. So I think, you know, he's going to get over the line even if it gets close, because I think Kyren Wilson is too confident in his cue action at this tournament all the way through.
Well said, Jim. The 2 players flanked by Paul Collier. Just a reminder, this is his 4th ever World Final and his last ever one as well, because he steps down as referee and becomes tournament director full-time. But as for us, history in the making. The question is, which side of it will it fall on?
So the players back after the interval, the final mini session of the World Championship.
Kyren Wilson to break.
Jack Jones didn't seem to realise there was an interval, but he did well to take us there. Break of 67 in the 29th frame. Wilson, though, still one away. These are the frame scores. He's had, of course, 4 centuries along the way. Wilson, Jones won tonight. A couple of real close frames, though, have made a big difference. A couple decided on the black.
It wasn't an easy red. Nothing's going to be easy now. So close to the winning line. Missed it by a mile, and it's one of those forcing shots which has often caused him problems. I'm not sure exactly he's left a sitter. I don't know, did his hand slip? Sometimes his bridge hand might slip a little bit, because that is not a shot he'd really like to ever see again on replay. All things considered, he's not finished too badly. And Kyren's got to play safe, remarkably, from that spread of the reds. It's one of the shots of the championship, I can tell you. And not only because of the way he played it, because it was on the back of probably the worst shot he's played all championship. He's some resilient player, isn't he? Remarkable, actually. I mean, that was such a great shot.
Eight. Nine.
It's quite a revealing thing just put up on screen. Wilson's highest break tonight, just 44. Jones has had a century. Chance for another big break here.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Kyren has been quite vulnerable tonight. He has not played well. And
16.
You know, it's looming large that he might end up world champion. Maybe that pressure has made it worse. Jack Jones has put pressure on him the whole match.
17.
Well, maybe not the whole match, actually, because the early frames were one-sided. But ever since then, you know, he's done what he's done to everyone else. He's just been at them all the time. and he's found ways to bounce back. But this would be the ultimate in bounce backs, wouldn't it, if you could get this match won?
$24.
Well, I'm going to say it. He's still on the black.
Tell you what, of all the reds that he was likely to play, that was about the 5th or 6th on the list. He took a long time working out that that was the red to play. It was quite a hard red.
32.
It certainly opened up the path to the black into both corner pockets anyway. Just got far enough. But he'll be really stretching on this now. So this has got some difficulty about it. Played it well.
Well, of course, in the final last year, Mark Selby memorably made a maximum break, the first ever
40.
in a world final. It was a Mexican wave, actually, afterwards.
41.
A lot of work to do. As always, the frame's the important thing.
Well, never was winning the frame more important, I should think, because, you know, if he was to take a liberty here, then it's tournament
48.
championship over. So, yeah, absolutely, the frame is important.
$49.
You know, the shot here could be just to roll it in and get it behind that red along the cushion, even though it shouldn't be the one he plays on.
$56.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much wrong with Kyren Wilson's shot. You saw the tap on the table from Jack Jones because of the fluke he had the time before, the get out, really. It's all history now, isn't it? You're knocking reds out,
57.
everything here. Playing every shot in the book. This opening red, I mean, I honestly think it was one of the best shots I've seen in the whole 17 days. Where does he find this from, this inner strength? I don't know how he does it.
64.
I think he looks one of the strongest players I've seen mentally for quite some time.
$65.
Peter Ebdon-like, who was a champion here, of course. 2002.
So he needs a couple more pots to secure the frame. His highest break in tournament play, 143, Jack Jones.
$72.
Yeah, so the frame should be his, and now it's all about trying to make this maximum. Remember, there's a £40,000 bonus for anyone who can do it at the Crucible.
$80.
I must say, you spoke about the theatre and all the things that happen here. This would be the ultimate plot twist, wouldn't it? Something no one had thought of. Played the cannon, he still got a shot. But, of course, these 4 remaining reds make me think that even for Jack Jones and all his efforts, it might be a little too much. Frame's long since won, at least. That's in the bag. Well, I think the shot here is to try and knock the top red out on the right cushion and land on the bottom one. So the red just to the left as we look now by his bridge hand. Oh, he's played it. He's played it. Oh, he's done it in a very different way. Wow, that was almost perfect.
96.
He's got to roll the red down the cushion now. I mean, from here, I've not seen a 147 attempt where the reds are so awkward now. It nearly happened.
Not to be. A valiant effort from Jack Jones. Ends at 96. He's pulled one back though. 17-13. Well, all you could do is smile, I guess. As I say, a valiant effort. Looking relaxed, isn't he? And Kyren Wilson isn't, I've got to be honest. He's just sort of looking very stony-faced in his corner. Yeah, he's enjoying himself, and why shouldn't he? You know, we must remember he's guaranteed 200,000 here in terms of prize money, which is over half, you know, his total prize fund that he's won since he turned pro in 2010.
Well, he should be very proud of everything he's achieved, and of course he's still in this final. And there was, I mean, look, a 147. I don't think we can even comprehend that would happen at this stage of the match. But he did well. He got quite close to it. He did flick the other red here. And then he missed, but great break. And he should be absolutely proud of everything that he's doing. And he's still in the final. It's not over.
Thank you. The 31st frame. Jack Jones to break.
Yes, the 31st frame of a possible 35. He played what looked like a horror show of a shot, didn't he, in the last frame, Jack Jones? It looked like he left Wilson in amongst them. He hadn't. Left nothing. Wilson played safe. Jack Jones potted a great red, landed on the black, and then the drama of the 147 attempt that ended at 96. But he won the frame. Wilson, of course, led 17-11. It's now 17-13. Yeah, and the problem Wilson's got is tonight Jones is winning frames in a single visit. Made the century, made the 96, has a chance here straight away.
He's having a bit of trouble, isn't he, getting over the line, let's be honest. And not immediately have the chances come. And I think if he did get match ball, championship ball, I think he'd get it. But the process building up to it, he's just faltering a bit. Do you know, I think he thought he'd missed that. He gasped as if he'd missed the red. Kyren would have heard that and it wouldn't have cheered him up to see the red still go in. That's why we always say the pink is protecting the bunch. But between frames, you know, I'm not seeing him so relaxed and happy, having a little chat with people in the audience, Jack Jones, because he is still in the final, but he's also in the top 16. He's got £200,000. He's in everything, the champion of champions. You know, he's arrived. So no one really could deserve it more than him.
Jack Jones 6.
But that is the, you know, the worst case scenario of tonight. All of those things.
Yes, and he will have experienced this great occasion, which not every player has done. Wilson, in stark contrast to Jones, who was laughing and joking with people, was just staring straight ahead. Hasn't quite got breaks going yet tonight. 44 is highest.
Fantastic. Forced into playing it. Beautiful. And he's on the black. I'm just looking at the black spot. It looks as if the black will go on there, and he's having a long look now and obscuring our view, but I think it spots, and then it's a question of does the red that he would like to play on, that's close to the black spot, then stay available. Well, he nearly missed it. The black, that is. So the path of the cue ball was unplanned.
8.
It's not an easy table. You can see the black is buried now when respotted. You just know that if the moment comes when Kyren does pot match ball and then is crowned champion, you know it's going to be emotional. You know the kind of guy he is. It's sure to be like that. But he's not there yet. Now this is a deliberate miscue. Oh, that looked like... Was that a legal shot, really? I honestly don't think that was a legal shot, you know. Could be my eyesight. All I'm saying is I felt it was a push shot. Anyway, I'm probably wrong. May not be too bad because obviously the red's available, but to get onto a colour from this red is all the wrong angles to do so. And you can notice if you could just smash the red in the middle of 100 mile an hour, because it probably will come out. You're trying to get position. Well, that is a very good shot indeed. Now he can go into the bunch from the blue.
Not quite the dream split. But he does have a red 2 right middle. Oh, and it stays out.
Kyren Wilson 6.
He has covered that red, though, to the middle. Could have been left an easier red than this. It's hard to say, though, that the stars aren't aligning for him, having fluked that black around the table to go 17-11 up. Oh, terrific red from Jack Jones. Pink looks like it'll be waiting.
Seven. Eight.
Well, the key to this frame surely is opening
13.
up that area around the black spot with the red's all crowded round.
$14. 14.
It's a kind of moment where you could make 25, 30 more points from here, and it would seem an awful lot. With those 4 reds lined up down the
20.
middle of the table by the black spot, none of them available. So if you're behind, how are you going to get back into the frame with those there?
21.
I'm sure his supporters are thinking, if only he could have started the final like this. He was ill at ease yesterday afternoon, let's be honest, fell 7-0 adrift. Wilson was playing well.
$27.
Very tricky, this little shot. Oh, very nice. Beautiful. It's almost like people think that this is just a
33
in defeat, a sort of a last rally, but you know, you wouldn't put anything beyond him, would you, Jack Jones? You know, a couple of frames he lost, one tonight, one last night, which should have really been the end for him, but no one has told him this.
$34.
So the last loose red until
40.
he needs to disturb the 4, and if he can get a nice split, he may well have pulled another one back.
41.
Maybe just off straight on this pink. Not ideal.
No, but the points are mounting up, aren't they, in his favour? Top spin, around the angles. He was torn between the 2 cushioned way into them, which was a bigger target, or playing across 1 cushion. It was quite narrow
47.
because all the reds are lined up down the middle there. Bottom line is, though, it's a handy lead. Not to say that with the colours all open, he can't get back into the frame. Behind the green is the plan. That's another wonderful shot, isn't it? Wonderful shot. There's one thing recognising the shots there, but then he goes and plays it perfectly.
No doubt Jones in this session is playing the better snooker, and he's keeping Wilson firmly under the cosh. Yeah, that was delicately done. That could have gone wrong. That could have been 17-14 easily.
Well, it's okay. He has left Kyren Wilson the chance to sort of play an attacking safety shot himself here. You're going to spread the 3 reds, but if you can get the cue ball right down into a danger area in bulk, then he could find just an in the frame, way back. Not quite achieved it, and pushing the yellow safe has not done the job. Not with a deficit of 38 points. So at least he can free the yellow now and get the snooker behind the green, so that does change things somewhat.
If you have to go, yeah, that's fine. Kyren Wilson 1.
Well, I think
Stop
Jack
the clock a second, please, Massa.
needs the toilet, so he's actually leaving, stopping the match clock. And Kyren's also taking the opportunity to leave as well. One thing I'll say is they have a lot of water these days in their corner, and if you sat nervously sipping it, nature will take its course, I guess. So this frame very much in the balance as the players just take an unscheduled break. I think a lot of people actually are surprised we're still here right now. Jack Jones is really putting it to Wilson.
Well, Jack Jones continues to surprise everybody. I'm not even sure that applies to him, though. You know, he seems to just be capable of finding extra all the time. Must be the belief he has. But as I say, you know, there's an element of not so much underestimating him, but just not quite believing he's capable of all the things he's achieved in the last 12 months here, last year and this year. And, you know, if you look at his results in between at all the various shorter match events, they're not great. He's not lost to any world beaters, quite frankly, or not many of them. But here he comes, and back to the Crucible, and, you know, he's proving a very tough opponent for Kyren Wilson.
They just can't get rid of him, can they? Qualified. He was here on the first morning, wasn't he, playing Zhang Anda, and he's still here on the last night. And despite the huge deficit he's been facing, he is clawing his way back into it.
Yeah, I was saying the other day, I can't think of too many sort of non-world champions on that first morning that played session 1 and are still here on the last night. It might have happened, but I don't know if this might just help Kyren, because he looked under quite a lot of pressure, I feel, in this frame. Understandably, goodness, and why wouldn't he be? And it was an odd frame, really. It started off with a roll behind the pink, which, I don't know, it didn't look perfectly legal to me. That shot looked like a push, but that moment has passed, and you know, Jack Jones has probably got himself in a strong position. But you know, it just could be that Kyren comes back from the break. It was a break that Jack Jones wanted, and ends up stealing this frame, and all the tears and everything will come.
Well, the players are back to resume. So Jack Jones is in front in the frame by 37, but snookered here with 3 reds left. Wilson needing this frame to become champion. We haven't had a single ranking event this season whose final has gone to a decider. Just saying.
He's showing interest in his red down the cushion. Well, that's very good. Now, this is what I'm saying. Maybe the comfort break has just changed the mood a little bit. All of a sudden, something's emerged from nothing for Kyren Wilson to get the job done here. He's on the blue perfectly. He might have to nudge one of the reds, the right-hand red. And that will just play in by the black. No, it's not bad. Not bad.
Well, it's agony, isn't it, for the parents and the family and the supporters. We'll see them at the end for sure, if he can get this done. One last push for the line required.
Yeah, and well, turns out that he's not able to pot it.
Kyren Wilson 6.
Well, there you see it, 31 the lead, so Jones needs red plus brown or above to get to the snooker's required stage. Well, he really sized himself up, didn't he? He was furiously chalking the tip of his cue, getting ready to play the shot.
Yeah, I think Jack will have the shot here to pot this and maybe just retreat up the table. I know he wants a relatively high-value colour, but I think the red's not so easy that you can take the risk of bringing Kyren back into the frame. So I think if he pots the red, anything could happen. He could lay a snooker. Just might have to get the cue ball away from that area in trying to pot it. Well, he played it more positively than I thought. All credit. There's no running away from this Jack Jones. Going up the table. This is now giving him a high-value colour. All credit to him. Well, if he rolls this in, it's definitely his frame. It's a snooker needed anyway.
7.
But the disappearance of this red means another frame's on the board.
Well, he's really standing up to it, isn't he? And he's going for it, and this is getting a lot closer. 3 on the spin now. Wilson hasn't made a half-century break tonight. Pressure gathering on his shoulders. Frankly, Jack Jones looks like he's enjoying himself. So, something on the table that he didn't like. And that black removes any doubt. Well, there's something flying around that he's just asking Paul Collier to deal with. There it is. Flew away. But Jack Jones is not going away. Certainly, if he can win the next 17-15, then that is anybody's match. That's one way to pot it.
17.
And the crowd are on his side here. They're cheering on the comeback.
20. $24.
And suddenly it's like Judd Trump's out there. What have you got for us here?
29.
Another frame to the Welshman. That's 3 in a row. Piling pressure onto Kyren Wilson to get this one. Still one away at 17-14.
Well, the pressure was certainly mounting in this frame all the way through, and Kyren, had he potted that red, maybe he'd have had the chance to get the match one there, but I thought you played this so coolly. You could have easily potted it and gone up the table. None of that. I think at this stage he's still prepared to take the odd risk here or there. But he's now making this final very much too close for comfort for the Kyren Wilson brigade, and you know, if you did think about those 2 frames, and you can't look back too much, but you can't help but think about the last frame last night and one of the earlier frames this evening, which he should have won them both. He missed the chance in them both, I will say. But then you're talking about him being in front here, never mind behind still. So it's getting very dramatic. Jack Jones looks the cooler of the 2, let's be honest.
So Kyren Wilson still needs one. 17-14. It's one of those curious things about this tournament. If it had been 14 each and he was 17-14 up, he'd be feeling great. But the fact is it was 17-11. And he's had chances since, and he's not over the line in this final. Well, you can see the Wilson supporters are looking a little glum. They're still leading. He's still leading 17-14. This is where all the mental work is done. That's where it all comes in moments like this, to stay positive.
Yeah, still that very straight cue action stands in good stead, though. It's just that he's not making much of his chances now. Those sort of shots, he's been bread and butter all the way through. Those two reds could be made into a plant, but they're goodness, they're a long way apart. Can't think that's on his radar right now, unless there was no other route in behind a red. Well, that's a very good shot to finish there. He's not quite the angle on the red he would love. He'd just love to be just a ball's width lower than the angle of straight. Now he's got to just play the cannon. Now, is this the moment where he takes some kind of control over the frame? It would be a very early call to think that, but he is at least in first. Well, he's missed a rest shot, although I don't think that's not really about the rest shot, is it? It's just about finding the angle. Clearly it was with that implement, but he's got a few issues, hasn't he? Let's be honest. No point in pretending otherwise. He's been put under pressure and he's feeling it. He absolutely is.
Jones has eyed a plant to middle.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether the red below it is just covering the natural plant angle. It's tight, isn't it? Wasn't on. It was not on. There was a red in the way. And it looked in the way, actually.
big shot for Wilson. Black waiting.
Well, everyone's under pressure, including people who thought that was in when it wasn't.
Yeah, well-weighted safety. There's no rule about what order you take to get to 18. He was 7-0 up, of course. He did a lot of the damage yesterday. He did pull away tonight, didn't he? At one point there was 3 in it earlier today, 6 in it at 17-11, back to 3 again now. Just needs to run.
Foul and a miss. Kyren Wilson 4. Back. Okay, thanks. Foul and a miss. Kyren Wilson 6. Just have a quick look at that, please.
Well, it's just going to be a bit of adjusting
this red went down.
being done here. Red was shifted, obviously the pink as well. Tatiana Wollaston is helping him.
So the ball, the red that you moved,
Yeah.
half a ball towards the pink. Yeah, and then literally a touch towards yourself.
As long as it's close.
Yeah,
'cause
that
it
looks
doesn't-
close, yeah. And then the pink, quarter of the ball towards you. Touch more, more. And a bit more towards yourself. That's it, yeah.
Well, that was all sorted out by Tatiana very efficiently, as you'd expect, and quickly.
Okay.
Well, he's going to be warned,
Yeah,
isn't he? You
just
can see
look at it.
red
We'll have a
full,
look.
so that's going to be coming.
Those two reds look good. If there is another red
There's a
moved,
little gap with the white needs to go forward a bit, yeah?
the cue ball needs to go forward.
Yeah.
Half a ball forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reds are fine on there, so, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's got to be warned, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Kyren sort of held 3 fingers up to remind him.
Didn't think he was going to remember with all the other things on his mind.
Well, the bottom line is, and this is how stark this is, he's got to hit a red, otherwise the final's over. So he's absolutely got to make sure. Otherwise, Kyren Wilson would become world champion in the most extraordinary way on the 3 strikes and you're out rule.
It's left a ticklish problem here. I mean, obviously he could go for this red, but he's doing a whole world of damage potentially if it doesn't go in. I mean, he'd probably get it, but just all bets are off, aren't they, at the moment, as to what you could pot and not pot. Well done. It deserves to be on something. But this is the frame he needs to be world champion, and it's swimming through treacle. It springs to mind, doesn't it? Just getting it done. It's a horrible shot on the blue to keep the break going. I mean, again, if he misses it, he's leaving everything. The red to the middle would be very handy here. It's easier than the red to the corner. Now he has this chance to get away, pull away eventually, shake off Jack Jones.
Seven.
What a moment.
Yes, it's what all the work for many, many years has been for, to have the chance to become world champion.
I've no idea what he played there, because there's nothing on that left side that he even wants to be anywhere near. I'm sure he played to finish somewhere about 4 foot away from where he did finish, to put one of the reds below the black into the left corner, and the cue ball's gone miles out, quite honestly. Sometimes difficult when the ball is close to the pocket to gain control over it, but he was a long way from doing that.
The scoring chance that didn't come to much.
He's lucky there. The cue ball's finished on the side cushion, because if it hits the yellow more of it, then he would fancy Jack Jones to pot this. From there, it's a very unpleasant shot, cueing wise. The drama's mounting all the time.
Well, the red did its best, didn't it, to drop. Black's gone safe, but blue and pink available.
One.
Well, his cue ball control has completely deserted him. That is understandable. I think he'll always be good with the rest. He'll always be good at hitting straight through the ball, but now he really has tightened up. And I think he's got the point now where he doesn't quite care how he wins his frame, as long as he ends up with more points than Jack Jones in it. That's all he cares about. The situation's getting quite serious. He's even missing with the rest. Well, I mean, I don't know if Jack Jones can get back into this frame, but if he did, well, I honestly think they could win the match then. But 29 behind with the balls where they are is a decent lead.
Yeah, that green with the rest, the sort of ball he's been punching in the whole tournament. All fluency seems to have gone this evening.
1.
Well, that white has just run to the cushion. I mean, the green is cuttable, but it's nasty.
Yeah, the cue ball's heading in towards reds here, but it isn't a nice shot from underneath the cushion, as you're saying, because he wants to play it with a degree of pace, and you can lose your accuracy from the cushion doing that. I think he felt that he couldn't hit it as hard as he'd like to.
Four.
Red's to middle, but he'd have to run through another red and be on the pink. Safe in the knowledge all the time that, you know, that he could be about to play his last shot, but that's been the case for a while now. The shot goes wrong. That goes.
Jack Jones 4.
Well, there's something good has come out of that for Jack Jones. He pushed the black out, and that is a ball that he could need in play. So some good has come out of a bad shot.
Apart from the odd cough, dead silence in this Crucible Theatre this evening, at a venue that, of course, has witnessed so much drama over 5 decades. Kyren Wilson being tested on the greatest stage we have. Still favourite for sure, but still needs the frame.
Well, he's winding up to play this red down into the right corner pocket here. I'll be honest, I'm not fancying him on to pot anything at the moment that's not over the pocket. Pressure's huge. It was a difficult shot, don't get me wrong. And if you're a neutral, you'd like to see this go all the way. But it will be hard to stand, even for someone that's not got an interest in either player. He's playing the double here. He's playing it. Interesting shot selection. To be honest, it was quite a rash decision, wasn't it? To play the double. If you hit the far jaw, it always comes back towards the object ball. The cue ball and object ball close together. Wow, he's got another golden chance to just put distance between himself and Jack Jones in the frame. Whether that's to actually win it here, I don't know anymore.
Well, it's a definite chance of some sorts. Kyren Wilson, they say that, you know, the old saying, snooker's proficiency at snooker is the sign of a misspent youth. His head teacher gave him Fridays off to play at an academy to hone his skills. Are we tonight at his graduation ceremony? His family hopes so. He's opened the reds up, so this is a definite chance now, if he can stay cool and in control of himself, to finally get this one.
Yeah, and this is where all those hours of practice getting that grooved cue action that he's got, that it's so good. If it was ever for any moment in his snooker career, it's this very moment. He's only 35 in front, so you're backing yourself and your technique to do enough. It's what all those hours of toil are for.
11.
Not a great shot. This pink to middle is decidedly missable. Well, it's good, but not necessarily decisive.
17.
This next one feels like the big one, doesn't it? If he gets this, definite chance to close it out. Very crisply done.
18.
Well, the family and friends really do go through it, don't they, up there on that balcony, probably sitting in the same spot that's been lucky for maybe the last 2 days or maybe 5 days of the one table, hoping that that luck will continue. He can see the winning line now. He's just got to stay at the table and just, whatever colour he takes, just take reds off. And he's found it quite difficult to get over the line, but he's got this opportunity. Slightly in between, but he's trusty rest shot here.
22.
Which he won't mind reaching for the rest because that's what he does so well.
Keeps looking at that scoreboard, almost willing it to tick over. It will do if you pot a few more balls.
23.
So it's 2 more pots, effectively, to get to the snooker's required stage. Jack Jones, what a tournament. He's put him through everything here in this final. Here we go then. This is the moment that he's been dreaming of his whole life. He always believed he could become world champion. If he pots this next red, barring snookers, he will be. The whole 17 days, plus all the qualifying before that, the whole month here in Sheffield has come down to this next shot. You cannot blame him for that celebration, because my word, he's been put under it tonight by Jack Jones, but he kept the belief, and there it is on the winning ball.
A big family man, and he's looking up there to his very proud 34. Family. Why wouldn't he? It's been tense. But he feels that he's done all the work now, and of course if this next red goes in, then it's definitely the end for Jack Jones.
He barely has the energy to even come back to the table just for the victory lap. This tournament is so draining. It's not just about the 17 days, it's all the years, the disappointments along the way. He's lost in a final before now, lost heavily to Higgins last year. But from the off this year, he looks superb, and you can see the realisation dawning on him as every second passes now. He's looking up to his family. The tears are coming to the eyes.
Can't see anymore.
Yeah, he says, I can't see. His eyes are misted in tears. What a moment. Kyren Wilson has conquered the Crucible. He becomes world champion for the first time, a lifelong dream realised for the Warrior, who had to show his mettle as Jack Jones came back at him, but he stood tall as his brother Taylor gives him a big hug, and now the tears really are flowing. Another great moment here at the Crucible, and in 2024 the trophy belongs to Kyren Wilson and family. His sons Finlay and Bailey join the hug. 18-14 doesn't begin to tell the story. He did the damage, of course, on day one, 7-0, and had to hold on at the end.
Kyren Wilson is your champion, and his boys and his brother are on the floor to celebrate with him. Bailey coming across to shake Jack Jones's hand. That's a beautiful moment from this young man. And what a beautiful moment for this family. Taylor, this is Kyren's brother and his wingman, saying very heartfelt congratulations to Jack Jones here on the floor. The emotion is surging around this room. Jack, what an incredible run. What an incredible achievement. You got so close in the end. How much pride can you take in the last couple of weeks, not just here in the Crucible, but in your efforts to even be here again?
Yeah, I just congratulate Kyren and his family. They deserve it so much. If anyone deserves it, he does. So congratulations to them. Yes. Been an unbelievable tournament for me. It was about a month ago I was twitching in my first qualifying match. So, yeah, it's been a long month, but I'm happy with it.
Tell you what, you showed such guts and resilience. 7-0 down, but you would not bend. You said it was a miracle you were still in this match at the end of last session, last evening. So how much hope did you carry in today?
I wouldn't say I had a lot of hope. I just thought if I just try my best, basically, see what happens. But when you're playing someone as solid as Kyren, who's got such a good all-round game, it's going to be hard to come back from a deficit like that. So, yeah, it wasn't to be.
Jack, you have changed a lot of minds about the way you play and how you play. And I have to say, it's a life-changing situation here now, because you're vaulting straight into the top 16. How is this going to change your career going forward?
Well, hopefully for the good. I don't know. Yeah, hopefully I can move forward in a good way. Yeah, hopefully.
And your supporters have been here. Your dad, Colin, who's been with you all the way. What do you want to say to Colin? He's such a composed figure in the background. You owe him so much. What do you want to tell him tonight?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank my mum and dad and my wife. My mum's come in for the very first time ever. She's never watched me before, so yeah, it was nice to have her in here as well. But yeah, my dad's been unbelievable through my whole career. He's been there for every match, so maybe I'll do it one day for them.
I'm sure you will. This man's going to be around for a very long time. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jack Jones. And here he is, the champion, Kyren Wilson. This has been your life's work to get to this point in your life. Tell me what it was like. How long have you imagined becoming a world champion, and how tough was it to get over that line tonight?
Do you know what? Can you imagine how embarrassing it would have been if I'd have lost and Bailey's dressed like that? Yeah, firstly, I'd like to say sorry to Jack for that outburst, but it does mean so much to all of us. Yeah, Mum and Dad, I think they're on the way down, but, you know, they've remortgaged, you know, sacrificed their whole lives to get me here. My brother has, my wife, Soph, Barry, Carla, Chris, Peter. You know, the list goes on and on and on. It's a massive team effort. God, you know, on YouTube, one of my worst things to see is me crying with Jason Mohammed at the Masters, and this is going to be even worse. So, yeah, I said I'd never do it again, but I just couldn't help it.
I'll tell you what, I brought you this just in case. There you go. But you know, Kyren, you made the best start in a final for over 30 years. But what can you say about the way Jack hung in there? He really took it to you towards the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he was so tough. And do you know what? I don't know if there's any people left in Wales, the amount they were cheering for him. They made it a fantastic atmosphere, you know. So, you know, every credit to those guys. You know, me and Jack have come through some junior ranks. You know, we were in Paul Mount Stable in Gloucester. We had many practice matches there. And, you know, this is Jack's first final, let alone a world final. So he's conducted himself in an amazing fashion. And I'm sure he'll be back.
But it's been so wonderful to have your boys here. You got Finn here, you got Bailey, who's a budding player himself. But I think the big question tonight here, Kyren, is, do you think this win tonight is going to change Bailey's mind about Judd Trump being his favourite player?
No. Oh, he's saying no. Just... OK. You can't please everyone. No. No, it's, you know, it's great. I'm trying so hard to inspire a younger generation. You know, hopefully I'm inspiring my kids. They did an interview this week and someone asked them who their sporting idol is. They said Ronaldo, so hopefully I've overtook him now. So, yeah, it's great. I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you for making this so special. I was robbed of this in the COVID final. You know, I will never forget this moment, so thank you all.
Champion, Kyren Wilson. Very, very well done. Thank you. Well done, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your presentation party, Simon Baker, Senior People Director for Kazoo, and Steve Dawson, Chairman of the World Snooker Tour. The runner-up receiving the silver medal and a cheque for £200,000 and the admiration of so many. What a brilliant fortnight for Jack Jones.
Yeah, what a tournament, what a player, and what a springboard this is for Jack Jones going forward next season and beyond. He really put Kyren under pressure tonight, but Wilson responded.
And the winner, receiving a cheque for £500,000, the trophy and the title 2024 Kazoo World Snooker Champion, Kyren Wilson.
What a moment for Kyren Wilson and his family, who are all here to enjoy it with him. They've been there through good times, bad times. This is the best time. The iconic silver trophy is his.
Your champion, Kyren Wilson.
The Crucible acclaims Kyren Wilson, the 2024 World Snooker Champion. Well, Neal, we've seen these pictures down the years with various players. It's always special for whoever wins it.
Absolutely. And Kyren's mother and father are there now. And he's a big family man. And he worked so hard and he deserves this. He has been the best player. He's our champion. And he'll make a great champion as well, I think, for the next 12 months and beyond, who knows. But, well, it's all about Kyren tonight, all the years of hard work through the ranks. fantastic occasion, and it's always the same, but this is particularly moving, I think.
Yeah, lovely moments for a lovely family. So that's it then. We wondered at the start of this marathon who was going to prevail. We finally got our answer. For the first time, Kyren Wilson is world champion. He deserves to enjoy this and all that it brings.
Moments that will live long in the Wilson household. Moments that will live long for all of the snooker fans watching around the world. Kyren Wilson with his wife Sophie there. His children, Bailey, Finley, his brother with his back to camera, Taylor. What a duo they are, by the way. With his father, Rob. Speaking to him outside the Crucible, he was speaking about just how tough it has been watching his son go through this, the stress he's endured, and the personal journey that he's been on from a health standpoint, and not forgetting his wonderful mother, Sonia. Kyren Wilson, the 23rd World Snooker Champion, the 28th ever, but the 23rd in the modern era. 10 times he's been to the Crucible. Before this tournament, he'd made at least the quarterfinals 6 times, at least the semi-finals 3 times, lost in the final against Ronnie O'Sullivan in 2020. But now Kyren Wilson has been crowned the 2024 Crucible King. Kyren Wilson, a worthy champion. And Alan, what a player, what a tournament.
Yes, what a tournament and what a finish to it, because credit, first of all, just a quick word for Jack Jones. He was immense, and he made a final of it, a proper final of it, all the way back to 17-14. If he could somehow have got that last frame, 17-15, things might have been different. But credit to Kyren and his family, and especially, as you say, Radzi, his parents, because I've been around tournaments a long, long time, and I've seen his parents. They're very quiet people. They just come and enjoy watching their son, and I think it's the night of their lives, seeing him crowned the world champion. He had this ambition. I remember playing him in the Gloucester Academy way back about 14, 15 years ago, and he had something very special, but he's had to work at it. He's worked his socks off, actually, to get himself in the position that he finds himself now, and every credit to him and his family.
Jimmy, there's an expression that hard work trumps talent when talent fails to work hard. And I don't know how much natural talent Kyren Wilson has, but no one can question the tenacity and the hard work that he's put in, as Alan said, to get to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he had no form coming into this World Championship. No one got close to him in this World Championship. OK, Jack did at the end, 18-14. Higgins got within 1 or 2 frames, but apart from that, he blew everybody away. He outscored everybody. And I'm delighted for Barry, his coach, his brother Taylor, and as Alan said, I know his family as well. They're really down-to-earth people. All these times of driving him to these pro-ams, as Kyren said, they're remortgaging their house, doing all that they done because they believed in their son, and this is the payoff. Delighted for all of them. Fantastic result.
He also, Radzi, has been the perennial sort of bridesmaid. That's been the story of him in the massive events. Yes, he has a handful of ranking events to his name, but he lost in the 2018 Masters final, as he made reference to there 6 years ago. Then he lost in the Champion of Champions final the same year. Then he lost this final 4 years ago to O'Sullivan, and then a recent Tour Championship final just last year. So he's been runner-up so many times, but this one makes it all the more sweet.
And now, just a word for the man we saw there. Jimmy mentioned him, Barry Stark, his former coach. You mentioned, as we encroached in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, how he taught Kyren the old-school way. What does that mean?
Yeah, what it means is that when Kyren was playing as a kid, obviously I wasn't witness or privy to it, but knowing Barry Stark, what he would have done is, when Kyren was trying to learn this craft as a kid, Barry would have been tough on him and saying, no, Kyren, we do it this way. This is the way forward. You know, being tough on him and saying, there's a way that we can make you a better player, but it ain't going to be easy. You're going to have to develop and improve and change things, because I said earlier in this tournament, he used to play off the cuff. He was far too open. He would throw his cue at too many long shots, but he's not now. He's one of the most solid players that you'll ever have ever played this game, actually. And that's nice to see them having a bit of fun with the ticker tape, isn't it?
Thank you for that context, Alan. Just a little word on Bailey and Finley. So, actually, one of his boys has struggled with his own health situation, injured himself at school, had slight hospital visits as well, and that's affected his preparation coming into this tournament. His wife's had health issues as well, and you mentioned there with his parents as well. So the context of winning this, given what he was like coming into it, Jim, it's a fairy tale.
Oh, no, absolutely amazing. You know, and he has played some of these top players. Like when he lost in the final against Mark Allen in the Masters, he broke down in tears, you know, pure disappointment, because he wants to win. He is a winner. He's tried everything he can. He's changed his cue action. He's worked, obviously, with Barry most of the time, gone to other coaches, come back to Barry, which I'm pleased to see. But his brother, Taylor, you know, has got to take, you know, probably 25% of the credit for driving him everywhere, making sure he practices, making him prepared, saying the right things to him before matches, in the interval, you know, like letting him shout at him when it's not going right. You know, it's a team effort, and they not left a stone unturned. They've tried everything they could do to win, and they've won the World Championships. I'm delighted for him.
And now, just a word on Taylor there as well. He came into Kyren's snooker life by virtue of ending a long-term relationship. He said, I was down in the dumps, and Kyren gave me the opportunity to travel the world. And he didn't just take that opportunity to be beside him. He's been his right-hand man, as Jim alluded, to support him. A few years ago, we spoke about them having fruit juice to allow him to have energy, to keep his concentration levels up in matches. They've explored nutrition, they've explored strength conditioning. He really has gone to the nth degree for his brother. They are a partnership.
They sure are. I remember Taylor when he first came on the circuit with the travelling circus that we have, and he was new to it, and he was always looking around the practice room. He didn't know a lot of people, but he got to know them, and he left no stone unturned, as you rightly say, with his research. He is the perfect wingman for his brother. He makes sure, as Jimmy said, you know, kick his backside on occasion. Listen, bro, whatever you like, bro or not bro, get on that practice table. This is the way we roll. This is the way we do things. We prep for this, and this, and you'll get there. He's tough on him, and that's good. As I say, it's an old school way of going about it, but he's been pushed first by Barry Stark, and now has taken a little of a back seat in his career, although he's here tonight, thankfully. Taylor there, just hugging his brother there, has kind of taken over the reins, and he's done a terrific job.
And what we're about to see, I think you just saw it there, his youngest son try and get in on the action in his hug, because it's all about moments that, like I say, will last a lifetime for us all, but especially for the Wilson household. And Jimmy, we talk about the Crucible being the ultimate test. Funnily enough, Kyren Wilson, right until the end there, that's the only real time I can recall seeing him properly under it.
Yeah, because next time he gets in that situation, because he'd won it, he'd be a lot more ease. Like you see the Mark Selby's, the Ronnie O'Sullivan's, John Higgins's, you know, who've won it multiple times. When they get to that situation again, he'll be a lot more calmer, because he will go back in a month's time and go through that final with Barry Stark and say this shot was that shot, but so will hopefully Jack Jones. But what Kyren Wilson's always had, he's always believed that he's going to be world champion. He always believes he's the best player in the world. And he's stuck by that. You know, he's always had that self-belief. Even, you know, there was a few misses towards the end with the pressure of Jack Jones coming back. But we always fancied that if he got a good enough chance, he was going to take it, because he has that self-belief.
We're just waiting for Kyren Wilson to come into the studio, and granted, the atmosphere here is fantastic. You feel the vibration when the crowd cheer, and certainly on particular applause, as you can see behind us here, when fully utilising the screen. But I'm slightly jealous of Rachel, who might just be in a slightly better position closer to the table. Rachel, how on earth is it?
Well, we've just seen the most magical scenes here at the Crucible. Kyren Wilson, your champion for 2024. And Rianne, we've just seen the victory lap. You can hear the cheers as he leaves the arena here. What a deserving champion for a true professional who has worked his whole life for this moment.
Yes, a lot of heartache and tears and blood and money and just general... I can't believe his family was there. It was so emotional. I've known them for many years, and to see his dad and his mum and obviously his wife and his kids, and they've all been there from day one, same as Barry Stark. It was so emotional. He just deserved it. As you say, he's a true professional, works as hard as anyone, and there's And when you lift that trophy, it all makes it worthwhile.
No surprise we saw the tears from Kyren Wilson. The family have suffered with a lot of illness over the last couple of years, and to see his dad come down here and just that beautiful moment with Taylor and the two boys. I mean, they're trying to get as much confetti into their pockets as possible. They're on the floor, they're playing with it, but in time, in years, they will realise just how special this moment is. Fabulous stuff.
Yeah, exactly. He even mentioned Jack saying they grew up together in the ranks, so they share that emotion as well. It's someone that you've fought long and hard with throughout these years. So, yeah, I think Sophie's going to spend the money and the little kids just want the confetti.
Oh, man, what an amazing tournament it's been, and commiserations to Jack Jones. He's played an incredible tournament, but the man of the moment, the man of 2024 is Kyren Wilson, and he'll be in the studio very soon.
Thank you, Rachel. So soon. He's actually in the studio now. Kyren Wilson, the 2024 Snooker World Champion. How does that sound?
Sounds amazing. Yeah, it's something that no one can ever take away from me. That's something that is always going to live with me. Hopefully the boys, they're still obviously very young, but when they grow old, they'll realise how special that was.
Can we talk about a little bit of your journey to get to this point? Not in the tournament, but actually as a human, as a son, as a father. It's not been easy this year.
No, not at all. We've had a bit of a nightmare couple of years, really, family-wise and health-wise. So, it was nice to give them something, nice to give them something to cheer for. It's hard to sometimes just put it to one side and crack on with the job at hand, but... I love this game. I love this sport. I've basically sold my soul to snooker. Oh, I don't want to break it.
That could have gone viral, by the way.
Yeah, I've sold my soul to the game, in a good way. And it's led me to this point. And it's obviously nice that I can repay the family that have, remortgaged. I remember going up and down like Leeds and Colville at 6 a.m. because we couldn't afford a hotel. And, all the others had stayed, nice cushy hotel bed the night before, and we're having to drive up at 6 a.m. So, we've grafted, we've done it the hard way, but we've finally got there.
And just touching on that a little bit, for yourself, as somebody who comes from a slightly underprivileged background by comparison to the other players there, it was very telling to me that the first thing you did was you looked up at your box. It's very telling to me that when you were down by the table, you wanted your mum and your dad to come down.
Absolutely, yeah. My dad, he struggles with his illness, so he struggles to walk. But there was no way I wasn't, I'd have dragged him down there. I'd have dragged him there. I've always dreamed of if I won that trophy, or when I won that trophy, I wanted all my family and all the most important people around me.
And Al, you were talking about the influence of Barry Stark and how he's taught this man to play the hard way, the old school way.
He has, because Kyren will sort of remember, but I was talking when you were lifting the trophy, Kyren, 5 minutes ago, about the times in Gloucester when I got to see you play. Yeah. Back in that day, probably 12, 14 years ago. Yeah. And I could see that the talent was there.
Yeah.
But it needed refining, didn't it? I think you'll admit
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
But, and the other thing about it, I believe, Radzi, that final and winning this thing, although it was tough in the end for Kyren, that final alone will make him a better player. Absolutely, because he had to figure out a way to get it done against Jack. It was such a tough opponent, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I never panicked. It might look like I was, but I never panicked. I kept myself really solid in my chair. I just believed. I just knew when my chance came at some point I was going to take it, and I kept trying to play the positive shots as well. I play a pink into the middle in a minute.
Yeah, it's a great shot.
I just thought it's just got to... I'm not going to fall over the line. I want to take it, with both hands. And something me and my brother spoke about, it's just hard shot after hard shot from what I'm seeing. And
how much being in the final, the last final that you were in, how much of that experience did you take into this match?
Yeah, massively. And I think that's sort of shown in the first session. Obviously, I remember when I played Ronnie, and the first session I was so tired. I was running on reserves. And I actually seen Jack just before we went out for the first session, and I could see how drained he was. And I thought, right, I need to hit home now. I knew that was my session to kick on.
Also, when you look back, this amazing achievement that you've done, you always knew you was going to be world champion. You always had that belief. You're nicknamed the Warrior. But you must have realised that by winning this World Championship, all that Triple Crown stuff is all gone now. Your first one is the World Championship, and I think you will kick on from this now to go to heaps and bounds. And fair play to Jack, but if you look back at this tournament, no one got close to you. No one. Only John Higgins. He's the only person who got close to him. He absolutely went for it like knife through butter.
I felt like that was the game that set me up for it. I knew that, you're always going to bump into a heavyweight. And John was that heavyweight for me. And obviously he spanked me last year. I just hold him in such high regard. Of course. He did a beautiful thing, actually, after I beat him. He gave his dicky bow to Bailey. And he said, I believe your dad's going to win it this year, and I want to remember it by giving you this dicky bow.
Fantastic.
So hopefully one day you see the boys on the big stage and they've got John's dicky bow on. Who knows?
Well, this is really a family occasion for yourself. So first of all, Taylor, I'm not sure if you can hear us in the back behind the camera. Come on out into the studio, mate, because you, as Jimmy said, you've made up about 25% of this championship. Let's give Taylor a round of applause.
Thank you, thank you.
Taylor, can you just give a word for your brother and the pride that you've got for him? Because you guys are inseparable. For anyone who doesn't travel the world tour, you are always there with this guy for the highs and the lows.
I'm not a crier, but I think the security guys that are back here right now, as soon as he was on that last shot at the end, I just burst out crying, shouting, "Come on, Kyren." The frame had been gone. He was crying, he was waving and all sorts, and to be honest, it hasn't sunk in yet that this is actually real. It still feels like a dream. So, in the morning, different story.
I wanted to ask Taylor, actually. You weren't in the balcony with it. Where were you hiding? Be honest.
In the Champions Lounge with 15 Peronis. So, just to make sure the nerves were calm. So. No, I like to sit in the back and just kind of look at all the statistics and stuff like that. I speak to Dom from BBC, and he gives me all the statistics about how he's been playing, pot success rate, and then obviously we take that into practice and work on that from there. So.
And Kyren, just a word for your brother and everything he's done for you.
Yeah, I would just like to say, obviously, without getting soppy, you've taken an awful lot of pressure off of me. You've allowed me to go and play snooker. You've put up with me through my, tantrums, my diva-ish actions sometimes, and, it's the worst. It's honestly the worst place to be with me sometimes, Taylor flew home from the Shanghai Masters on his own because we fell out. It took 48 hours for us to speak after that. It's just what happens sometimes.
But isn't it great having your brother there because he's going to tell you the truth. Absolutely. He's going to tell you, the right,
he kept
wrong
saying
thing.
to me, you're not going to fall over the line. We're not people that fall over the line. We're people that get over that line and cross it. And, I felt like I did that in that last frame.
Absolutely.
I think for us, that fighting spirit comes from our parents, Sophie, the kids. We've had a really, really tough year, horrible year. The season has shown that, and then coming into here being a little bit more prepared and just not expecting anything as well. We've just kind of come into the event thinking, right, let's just give it a go. Whatever happens, happens.
And here we are with ease.
And, boys, do you want to come up here as well? Finley and Betty, do you want to come over to you so we can speak to you with this microphone?
Here you go.
Lads,
He's got a mic.
Can we talk to you about your daddy? How proud are you of your daddy's performance?
Very. Not the bit where he's just nearly knocked the trophy over twice.
And who are you dressed as today?
Dad.
You're dressed as your dad. And what has your dad done today? Do you know what he's done that's super special?
No.
Shall I tell you? So lots of people have daddies at home, but not many of those daddies are world champions. And your daddy's a world champion. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Should we give your daddy a special round of applause?
Yes.
Let's give Kyren a round of applause.
Thank you.
And finally, just a word, Kyren, for Sophie in the back.
Yeah.
Because what she's personally endured and also what she's done for you and the support, because, again, you guys are a proper, solid unit.
Yeah, Sophie's in the same boat as Taylor, really. Sort of has to deal with me at my worst. You might not see it, but I am a total nightmare sometimes because I live this game. I can't switch off sometimes. I've had some real dark moments because of this game, but, this is a nice moment that... she's crying over there. yeah, this is a nice moment that she is now a part of. She is now a part of history. She helped me get here as well. I couldn't have done it without her. And just on a side note, Radzi.
Yeah, please.
Do you remember the last time I got to the final, the after party?
I may do.
Yeah, I had Rob Walker in a headlock doing sambucas at the bar. Imagine what's going to happen tonight.
It's going to be a very good night.
Absolutely.
Thoroughly deserved. What an incredible performance. And finally, you've mentioned Sophie. You also said to us off air that all of that money is going to be dedicated to her brand new wardrobe.
Yeah, she's probably spent it already. But, yeah, you know, you can't buy this. It's about this trophy and it's about being part of history.
Well done to Kyren Wilson, well done to the Wilsons, well done to Team Wilson, the 2024 World Champions. We're going to call them a plural for this particular one. And just a very quick reminder that Eurosport, the home of snooker, a number of snooker tournaments kicking off next year to mark your card. That is just a flavour of them. The 15th of July, it all kicks off with the Shanghai Masters. Then it's the English Open with the Home Nations events, the Northern Ireland International Championship, the UK Championship, the Shootout and the Scottish Open. So please, whatever you keep watching snooker on Eurosport. But as for us here, we can absolutely say that the worthy champion was Kyren Wilson, the 23rd world champion in the modern era. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to call this action that we've seen here over the course of the last 17 days. It's been unforgettable. It's been incredible. So once more, round of applause for Kyren Wilson, our brand new world champion.
The stage is set for another 17-day snooker marathon. For snooker fans, there's nothing like it. Luca Brissell starting out as defending champion, but this is a tough draw. May well be upsets in the opening round. The Crucible curse has claimed another victim. The Belgian bullet has been shot down. Credit to Dave Gilbert. What a great comeback.
Janganda departs the Crucible, but Jack Jones has again negotiated the opening hurdle. Stephen Maguire marches into the last 16.
No ordinary Joe. It's Joe O'Connor who completes a major upset here.
Gary Wilson becomes the 5th seed to fall, but Ball Run is back in business.
He's sitting there on the naughty step. Youth prevails over experience. Si Jawi defeats Mark Williams.
The former world finalist looks in the mood to go deep once again.
Jack is back in the winner's circle. What a match.
He's furious, the cue's on the floor.
Gilbert is through in a canter. The quarterfinals beckon.
And for the second year in a row, Jack Jones has come from the qualifiers to reach the quarterfinals.
Once again, Kyren Wilson is saving his most special snooker for the Crucible.
He marches into the quarterfinals of the World Championship.
And what a match this is turning out to be. It's too high. Is it a double? There's no better doubler. It's there.
He was shaking on the black, but now it's shake, rattle and roll into the quarterfinals.
Jack Lazowski gave it everything, but it's Stuart Bingham who completes the quarterfinal lineup.
Can we please make sure all the phones are on silent or switched off?
Sorry, I thought that was switched off. I do apologise. That was Harvey Lisberg from Palm Beach.
Goodness gracious me, that must have hurt.
Dave Gilbert into the semi-finals. He's beaten Stephen Maguire.
Sweet revenge for the Warrior. Kyren Wilson raises his fist. It's a 4th World Championship semi-final appearance for him.
Jack Jones completes one of the great Crucible upsets. He's knocked out one of the tournament favourites, Judd Trump.
Never has the form book been so comprehensively ripped up, and the latest man to do it is Stuart Bingham. Ronnie O'Sullivan is out.
We're off and running then in the first semi-final.
Still nothing to choose after 16 frames. It's 8 each. World Championship semi-final number 2.
It's been a real battle here, just like the other semi-final. They cannot be separated. Kyren Wilson is the first man into the World Championship final.
What a night in the life of Jack Jones. The Welshman has defeated Stuart Bingham to book his place in a first World Championship final. He'll play Kyren Wilson for the title.